On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, Fate Samurai Remnant collab. It happened. Is happening. They're servants. And we knew there would be. Also, some other stuff, like a little social media campaign for an upcoming Valentines. Not really trying to hide that one. And more! Hello, we are your hosts, Lucky and Omega, and we are dying a little bit every day. I don't have the energy to say anything different than that right now.
With that, though, I do hope that everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka a collab only 5 months in the making. And while we here at Studio Make like to bring you the latest FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EN version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should make sure to get their chocolate ready.
Yep. Oh, I'll probably have to time out when to do a pregame on that one, but that will not be this week. Also, after I said my intro piece, I immediately had to, sit up in my chair and stretch out. I don't know why I'm so stiff. Well, I haven't slept a little weird lately, but I'm trying to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier, and that so far is kind of working. Anyway, we got stuff to talk about. One of the things we like to talk about are patrons. So, this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Avid Heart, Blackest OG, Call Me Zed, Carlos, Dragon, Flightly Iceberg, Jeremy Vasquez, JDV9000, Just LaFay, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regiraptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robin, Sharvor, Shunpire, some guy named Bob, and Varian the Crow. If you like what we do and want to see more, consider supporting us on Patreon. Get access to episodes early and other goodies. How many more vowels can I stretch out? The answer is actually all of them, but I won't do that.
Please no.
We're good on that. Okay, all right. That is the intro, and I'm sure you guys want to skip to the good stuff, so let's slam a jam through some business real quick. First, we check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, Mash, who is definitely not an imposter. Actually, was Among Us a big cultural thing when the Case Files collab happened first?
I don't remember.
I don't think it was, because I feel like there would have been more just Among Us jokes. Anyway, I'm going to play the Mash sound cue now.
Senpai! 起きてください.
Because it's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai regular segment for pro tips. I only have one pro tip for you this week, which is just so I didn't have no pro tips for you. But I would like to remind everybody, you still have plenty of time to do the Case Files rerun, so don't worry about it. I'm literally had to stop at the final boss because that will require me to think about what buttons I'm pressing. And you still have 11 days left as of the time of recording this, so plenty of time. Plenty of Tim. So, yeah. Good time. Great times. No records, no evils. I could put in evils, throwing more tickets and not getting any Hephaestion, but that's kind of to be expected, TBH. There's a lot of Syncorts in this event. We'll see if I get one more 10 spin before the banner is done. But that means we're down to, did you finish your master missions? To complete your master missions this week, you need to perform 30 FP summons, friend point summons, in case you're not hip with the lingo. Then defeat 15, and these are 3 separate missions, where you need to defeat 15 enemies who are archers or casters, sabers or riders, lancers, assassins, or berserkers, all of which do not count servants or certain story bosses. Excuse me, burped a little bit. Then you need to complete 5 quests and complete 10 quests. So, do the event or do anything, really. These are, once again, very simple master missions. Just don't forget about those FP summons. So yeah, a lot of stuff there.
There's a lot of stuff.
Speaking of a lot of stuff, Skelegrams!
Nah.
We just like to do this voice. I think that's why we keep calling them Skelegrams. Because we keep getting to do this. Yes, anyway, Skelegrams. I'm reminded, somebody posted in the comments of last week's show, one day too early. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. This means we have stuff to talk about next week.
Yeah.
Because if we delayed the show for the live stream, we would have just had the servant banner announcements. Wouldn't have had details. Now we know kits and stuff. Anyway, first we actually have a little bit of NA news. It technically started first. Part 1 improvements in Singularity Repair Support started on the 17th. So basically this is the Part 1 improvements, which was one of the things they rolled out in their whole Road to 7 campaign in JP a couple years ago when that happened. So this basically is trying to improve the reading experience of Part 1. For now, it's mostly through just making stuff that was either limited time or you needed to cash in rare prisms on free. So Prison Tower is now free. If you've already completed it and bought it, you get your rare prisms back, which actually I did, because I'm pretty sure I bought it and redid it for the tickets once upon a time. The Arjuna and Karna trial quests are now free, which also redeem you a ticket if you haven't gotten the ticket already. Arjuna and Dante's costumes, that's the anniversary costume for Arjuna, and Dante's summer costume are now in costume making. And to celebrate each little Rerun edition thing, we have Arjuna and Karna banners to celebrate the, part 1 thing in general. And to celebrate Prison Tower, we've got a Dantes and Nightingale banner. So spinning up all kinds of cool banners or stuff. And they'll have a couple of these. If you check on the website, the news page for this already has like little nodes for them to add, new parts to the campaign and for you to click between them. I don't remember what's up next, but look forward to these little, fixes and improvements. In general, the way they've tied it is that, they're keyed to when they were relevant for stories. Like, I believe you need to clear Singularity 4 to get Arjuna and Karna as kind of like a setup for 5, and if you clear 5, you get Prison Tower. Timely. But that's not the one you're here for. JP's latest news, the FSR collab, Waxing Moon Clashing Swords Chronicles, starting the 17th, going until the 7th of February. So probably going to go the full end-to-end on Valentines, it seems like. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a satellite station that week in JP, or maybe a little bit before. But yeah, so going for quite a while. It's a mission event. There's missions. There's maps. They've got the usual login, every day during the event for apples. On the 7th day, it's a gold apple, otherwise it's silver. We've gotten announced our welfare Saber, 4-star Miyamoto Iori. He is the welfare, as many people thought so. Seems like a pretty natural fit since, he doesn't do a lot of costume changing in the game. But, kind of surprising people, the banner has come out, and it is SSR Avenger Ushi Gozen. I think technically it's Minamoto no Raiko, parentheses, Ushi Gozen, but, we know what's up. Also, that's a lot of words. And, probably our biggest surpriser, SR caster, Yui Shōsetsu.
Big surprise.
Yes, no, that was a pretty decent reveal on stream when they fired it off. Also, both of these were in the collage shown at New Year's, just they did the thing with Yui's outline. I think they actually used Yui's first ascension, it's just that her first ascension is, the odd
bodysuit.
Yeah, the bodysuit one. Which, like I said, has what's the right word? Has raised her stock among fan artists significantly. But yeah, that one got everybody really fired up. I was watching the live stream, and I've been talking about this since it happened, but it was very funny to see Ruby Okubo as a guest there shout out Mama to a panel full of people, by the way, because it's one of the touring guides when Ushi Gozen showed up.
Mm-hmm.
In general, I am still afeared of a banner part 2. I don't know for sure if that fits the context of the story we're doing for the collab, but there is, literally an extra guy shown in the CM who's going to appear in the event, and there are also some shots of some characters and stuff.
I have heard some commentary that something in the stream did indicate that there wasn't going to be a second pickup banner, but I don't know. I didn't actually get it. I wasn't actually able to watch the stream. Yeah, it wasn't personally.
My Japanese proficiency is arguably very low, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember any special comments about the banner, but everybody was freaking out, so it would have been easy to miss a little line if Nissan dropped something and said, we're only doing one banner for this. Sometimes they say stuff like that, sometimes they don't. So I don't know. We could just be looking at setup for, future stuff. Some people online were very, upset, no Aria.
I don't get it.
Aria's cool. I'd like her, but...
I love her.
It's I don't know why Yui seems like a fun one to throw in for an SR, and I feel like since we also the collage, we all knew it was Ushi Gozen.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. But my thought that I had over the week while I was thinking about it was oh yeah, right. In SR, Aria's not a combat character. That means that Lysenga will basically have to invent her moveset if they were going to put her in the game. That would probably require some extra dev time on this. And like Lucky, pointed out earlier in the intro, Samurai Remnant came out late September,
Yep.
With a demo version just a little bit before that. So it's only been, 4-ish, 5-ish months to reach here. I believe servants take minimum, 6 months of hard work to be ready to go, and usually they take a year in dev. Obviously, these characters were already being developed for SR before they were added to the game, but still, that's a very tight window, so who knows? Listen, guys, we've gotten some weird ones in certain events. We have a Valentines coming up. Anniversaries are always very odd, and sometimes they do throw in other shit in there. Like, the one we're going to get this year, which is going to have a 3-star alter ego tacked on because, spookums. Get spooked. So, yeah, keep my eyeball out. But I am still afeared of a banner, too, because, it's very sus.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens. You never know. There could be follow-up. God knows what we'll do at Golden Week, right? All right. But the other big zinger to come out of that stream, it was announced in JP. They are holding a vote, a poll, like they do in their normal questionnaires, but instead of like a normal feedback questionnaire right now, it's a poll on what event you would like to be rerun. So they're running a poll in JP, and you have to have a JP account to answer this poll. It asks you for your user number, so no stuffing the ballot, NA guys. Not that we would matter at all to the differences in total user base, but if you have a user ID, you can respond with 2 events you'd like to be rerun between 2020 and 2023. I probably won't list out literally all of them, but let me look at that list. But yeah, this one is very surprising. I feel like there has been a decent amount of conversation, about it, some of which has been constructive, some of which not. Some people are wondering, because we don't really know exactly what they're going for. We just know that, they're including events, from the broad spectrum of the years from 2020 to 2023. There's no guarantee they would add new servants to an event. So if you pick, Fate Requiem, there's no guarantee we'll get any new banner characters, even though that is something that collab reruns often have done. It's just they seem to be trying to strike a middle point between absolutely no reruns, which is where FGO has been at. Basically, I think since after this Case Files rerun, do we have any more reruns this year for us upcoming in NA? I think they might have a couple left, but in general, we're getting a lot narrower with reruns up until the point where it's basically none right now in JP. So let's see what we got here. For 2020, they've got handfuls there. Requiem, basically most of the Grailfront events, an Amazon S rerun, Manan rerun, Bespectacled, Battle in New York, rerun Sea Monster Crisis.
I think the one that everyone is assuming that everyone's going to be picking is the Draco event.
Yeah, Lilim Harlot. Yeah, that one seems like a decent one to vote for because we have seen since that event happened, they have played it very close to the vest with GSSRs and summon banners for Draco.
Mm-hmm.
And while there's no guarantee that they would rerun Draco's banner with the event rerun, that seems like a pretty good bet because she was, the banner servant there. Okay, just Carnimus? Yeah, so that's a pretty decent one. I've heard, like I said, some people recommending Requiem's rerun to be done because, they're hoping for additional servants on that banner. Some people have pushed for Summer 6 to try and get more of the Valkyrie alts because, you can only grab one at a time. That's I think a decent push because that would be part of the mechanics, though. If they did add them to the evocation shop, presumably you'd be able to get all the extra Valkyries anyway. At the moment, again, I was listening in on the stream as this happened, but obviously my Japanese is not that good. I don't know if, Nissan phrased it as and then we'll never do any more reruns ever again, or anything like that. It just seemed like the general idea felt like, hey, we're trying to do less reruns because we know you guys are not as interested in that as you are new content, but also it's good for players who maybe missed out on some previous content and like to take breaks, so we want to do some reruns. Here, vote for what reruns you want the most.
I'm gonna be real, guys. I know the Case Files is going on right now, and I know people are all about, not all about that Barbados raid. I have literally only got one mission done in that damn event. I am just not there.
Yeah, I got a few Barbatos runs in, not a lot, only 10 or 12. I got some bones out of it. That was nice. Which is a shame because I was kicking my ass to get to the raids, but that kind of really burnt me out because, guys, this event's hard. Which I know is weird for me to say because I've, gotten through fucking, Tunguska Beast battles and Lost Belt 6 and shit, but this event is really meaty. There's a lot of content in it. There's a lot of fights, and these fights are no jokes. They're full of, fucking extra shit. They're tough enemies. And yeah, I'm still not, done with the main story. I'm close, but I'm not done because it requires effort. There is at least new story with the Rail Zeppelin stuff, so I have been, trying to complete the story so I can actually breeze through that because, one, there's more Saint Courts, but also it's interesting. But yeah, no, it's there's definitely, I think, a kind of min-maxing is not the right word. There's a tension of appeal here with reruns of like, okay, reruns, they're cool, you like them, you don't like them that much though, so we need to like really lock in, what you actually want there. What event is going to win out, these rerun results and people pick for their shots at stuff so that they can actually, do the mechanics or reread the story or maybe get some extra stuff, get a second chance at a welfare, who knows. And it will. I hope that they are ready to, let us know either in like a future satellite station or maybe by like anniversary. They'll have all the votes totaled up. I do kind of hope they pull the trigger on maybe one of these reruns before anniversary time, but we'll see. But yeah, I would be very interested to see where people fall, right? Because there's a lot of stuff in here. 2020 year's pretty thinzo, but 2021, that includes Little Big Tengu, Amakushiro's Slapstick Museum, the Miss Crane event. Hypothetically, if you voted Shining Girl Live, you never know, we might get the buff or the costume that, Idol X needs. There's no guarantee any of that, though. That's all just us assuming because even though we're voting for a rerun, we would assume there'd be some normal rerun stuff in whatever gets picked,
Mm-hmm.
So, it will, like I said, be interesting to see what's up. Also, it is funny to look at this list for, 2022, which is obviously the year we're about to go into in an NA in 2024, and it's like, well, there's some stuff here. Seems like the event parts gets a little thin towards the end of the year, but there's still plenty of stuff here. Is there? Actually, let me count how many of these are. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Well, I mean, there's 12 of them. It's technically one event a month. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting. I've also heard some conversation about basically people wondering how this will go to NA. I assume, given how, they've talked about our experience over here in NA before and their general, acknowledgement of the fact that we do know things about the JP side, even if they don't like to comment on some of that stuff directly because of spoilers. I would assume we will get the same reruns that JP gets, if only because that's one, easier for the developers, and also I cannot imagine the chaos if they run the poll again and like different things happen over here. That sounds like we're just asking for a clusterfuck.
Probably.
Because, thanks to Clairvoyance, there are going to be people who are going to see what reruns get announced as part of this poll result, what wins, and they're going to fucking start penciling in their Saint Courts for 2 years from now, And obviously, I don't know, I think that FGONA should be, like, slavishly devoted to keeping the schedule to JP just because people do plan out their budgets, like, 2 years ahead of time. But the ability to plan ahead is a great boon to our community. We consider it a plus, generally. We get very freaked out when the Clairvoyance gets weird. Anyway, that's, one big discussion topic. Let us know if you are able to vote on the list or what you would vote on the list in the comments below. I'm sure many of you have many thoughts. I'm not actually sure what I would pick myself, but that probably depends on how I do in some events in the future years, I literally can't talk about, 2 years worth of those events because they're not over here yet. But we do have a couple more things in NA. Number one, first on our list to take out, 2,400 days. Today, actually, is the 19th is when that goes live. If you log in, from the daily reset in what's technically the 19th until the next day, you get 10 Saint Quartz. Yay. Huzzah. Also, 2,400 days. Jesus. That's a lot of days. It's number 6 for comic costumes. That's another good one. Anyway, one last NA bit, which is that we've, as alluded to earlier, already got our stuff penciled in for Valentines. It's been announced. First of all, we've already gotten, the name of the event and everything. Calling it, Manan's Souvenir Valentine and stuff. Got some key art. There's going to be a, Caldea Broadcasting Station stream on the 31st to cover all of that stuff, and we already have our social media campaigns up and going for 6 Saint Quartzes. This time, at least, it seems like maybe it's getting a little more action on Twitter anyway. I think we're already at, 10k out of 25k reactions, and, you've got until the 31st, so probably a little bit of a smoother time than last time. That one was a little dicey. But yeah, that's your news.
Alrighty, well then with that, it is time for this week's Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week we have several lovely submissions, and we're gonna get through them all. Right meow. So, starting from the top here, we got Monster Girl Aficionado, who says, "Dear Lucky and Omega, no question this week, just sending good vibes, wah 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 wah, and wishing you well. Keep up the great work." Same to you. Thank you very much.
I will take your well wishes.
Yeah.
I have not been feeling physically, not like terrible, but I definitely am wondering if I'm sick or something. My stomach's been bothering me for the last couple of days. But we're here. Oh, Anime Japan stream got announced. Good for them.
Good for them. This next one comes from Dustin, who says, Dear Lucky, I hope you're doing okay. I know the shock of losing a job suddenly. I was let go when the pandemic hit in the early 2020, but within a month I managed to find a much better paying job and within bicycle distance of my place. I hope that you will be able to rebound quickly and find something even better than you had before. Well, thank you very much, Dustin. I will take those words to heart. If everyone out there hasn't realized, Lucky just lost his job this week. It was not a very nice scene, and Lucky is in a little bit of shock at the moment. It's scrambled my brain beats a little bit. So thank you very much, Dustin, for the well. Yeah. So thank you very much, Dustin, for the well wishes, and I do hope that I will find something soon. But in that meantime, I am hoping that I can maybe spend a little bit more time on working on improving and generating new content for Studio Mega, and maybe even some other stuff, some other things that I have in the works. But we will see. I'm definitely not thinking about job hunting any time in the next few days, though. I just need time to just go, bruh, and lay in bed. Yeah. Which I have been doing, actually. I've actually finally started watching a lot of the anime that I've been meaning to.
Well, I'll be happy. I'm sure the audience also. It's been a little bit since anybody asked a question about, Lucky or anime or light novel recommendations, but I'm sure the people will still enjoy it when that comes that time in the What's Up zone. I almost said free talk. That's not quite right. What's up?
Right, but let us move swiftly on. The next one comes from Commandant of the Purifying Force, who says, Greetings, Spirit Detectives Lucky and Omega. Long time no write. Been busy with real lives update, but I do my best to find time to listen to you guys every week while doing the best I can to keep up with my gotchas. I want to ask your opinions on having a battle pass system for FGO. Just a fun little discussing. Bombarding you all with good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. A battle pass? On a personal level, I generally never actually have a problem with battle passes, as long as they there's a few types of battle passes out there. The ones that I'm okay with is where you just have your normal level and then the secondary level is just extra stuff. You just might get a little bit more mats or you might get a little more thing. It's when you start putting things like XP boosters and all that crazy stuff in the battle, like the other battle pass. So I go, wait a minute, that's not right.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm thinking about is because I'm not opposed to battle passes either. I think those are I feel like they were designed as a way to get around the fact that a lot of countries were like, loot boxes, those are gambling, stop that. And so they're like, okay, all right, okay, we've got it. The game is free, and you can earn rewards for free, but if you want to give us a little extra, we'll give you extra rewards. I just don't know what FGO would give out as like those extra rewards, right? Like, what would you put in a premium battle pass at FGO? I guess you'd sell it for like 5 or 10 Saint Quartz a month or something, and you'd like refund half of that or some other stuff. But I'm like, I don't know what you would give out. I'm not opposed to it. It's just I'm not sure what they would do with it. No matter what, more apples. Always need more apples.
Always need more apples.
I feel that's that's why Barbatos lived so long. Motherfucker lived like 2 days. Not just because he's a tough fight, but also because I don't know if anybody had any apples. Burnt them all up. Once again, I'll do a call to action. Feel free to comment below. What would you put in an FGO Battle Pass? Prisms? Yeah. Solid. Couple tickets.
Alrighty. So, let's move swiftly on. This next one comes from Gahulian God, who says, Who has the most underutilized sword in Face, Mash, John, or Arya? My personal opinion, Mash. Because John can use a sword. It's her MP on a technical level. And we haven't seen enough of Arya to determine if she's going to use her sword or not. Animation be damned.
I'm pretty sure the answer is, factually Mash? Has Mash ever actually drawn her sword?
Yeah.
Because, if we take the special into account, Arya has attempted to draw her sword. I don't know if I've ever seen Mash do that. John has actually canonically used her sword at least once in the climax of Apocrypha. Because the hilt is part of La Pucelle, so, she has to actually draw it and do the thing. 5-star Saber Mash win.
That'd be pretty sick. But let's move on. This new one comes from a New Year's Morgan, who says, Just want to wish you both a belated Happy New Year. Sending good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. Moving on to the next one. This next one comes from the Tire King Best by 3 Mamas and 330 courts with a, what is it, Zhongyu?
Yeah.
A spook. Question, hey guys, with 20th anniversary for FSN stream coming soon, what are your thoughts on what might be announced? Also, with JP's Valentines soonish, any predictions on who this year's servant might be? Anyway, that's it for me. Sending good vibes your way and hope you're having a great evening. I'm going to answer that second one first. If we don't actually have a part 2 banner with Tamamo Aria, I'm going to bet Tamamo Aria is going to be the fucking Valentine's Day servant.
That'd be a fun one. We could do that.
Do you think they make a 5-star Tamamo Aria?
I mean, they probably could. Because that would be... I'm assuming that would basically be an equivalent of, like, Renes, right? Like a support writer. Mm. That could be a good niche.
Yeah.
I mean, we are a little... Technically, we're more overbalanced with, 5-star Tamamo faces because of the double Koyans, but... it's FGO. Who knows? Who with them? Rarity is one of those things that feels like it has stopped meaning anything besides just more stats, more fancy.
More stats, more fancy.
Other than that, suggestion for like Aria, I literally don't know with FGO.
It'd be like something Valentine's, like the hunt for lovely things or something. I can see them making an event around that about Tamamo Aria's looking for the most beautiful things in the world.
And that would explain why the servants are, busting their butts on return gifts and chocolates again.
Mm-hmm.
Many of which are incredibly outlandish.
They are. I love them all, though.
Oh boy, I just realized since we got the FSR collab in the New Year's, that means we're gonna get a whole bundle. God knows what sort of fucked up thing Ushi Gozen is gonna give us.
I'm excited.
Yui will probably give us something that's like really artisanal and will make you feel deeply sad because you probably wouldn't think she could make chocolate. I'm pretty sure since Takeru is genderless, that will probably mean both a gift and a chocolate.
Probably, yeah. But listen, no, the time's to be excited because this year is going to be the year of Tiamat and Draco. Yeah. Valentines. This is important to me on a level people do not understand.
Sorry, I just had a very funny thought for Tiamat. Just like, chocolate tide? What's that, Mother? No. You've gotten me PTSD for Valentines. Well, it's delicious. I'll have to try it each anyway.
Oh, but as for the first one, honestly, I have no idea what they might do for a Fate Stay Night announcement. Like, I don't want to necessarily think that we're doing a remake of Fate Stay Night because we already know that Ufotable is still working on a variety of projects. Not to the extent that MAPPA is. Jesus fucking Christ.
But they are still working on Mahoyo, which is announced and hasn't come out yet, so...
Yeah, they still work on Mahoyo, they're still working on Demon Slayer, and who knows whatever small projects they may be working on. Unfortunately, I'm going to be real. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I would trust a Fate Stay Night remake with A1 Pictures, specifically Cloverworks, their Cloverworks division.
Yeah, like A1's Babylonia, they had the production value. There were some missteps, I think, in how that turned out and how the Solomon movie turned out. But, like, art-wise, it looked good.
Yeah. The Solomon movie had its own problems, but I don't necessarily think it was all in the animation. But if we remember correctly, we still have, a Strange Fake in the background somewhere as well, and that is being done by... Is that A1 or is that Cloverworks? I can't remember.
Let me see if I can find that Strange Fake anime. Series. Where's the scroll to anime? Let's see. Promotional video was done by A1 Pictures. Whispers of Dawn. Announced. Yes, produced by A1 Pictures. Yeah.
Okay, A1. Oh. Well, yeah. Like, who knows? Maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get that teaser for the remake. Like I said, unfortunately, nothing against Studio Dean. It was a product of its time, but with just so much effort, like in what has been done today, I think many people would be actually quite excited to see Fate Stay Night remade into something of more modern sensibilities.
Mention, obviously, I know that like anime fandom is a little different in Japan. There's a lot of emphasis on the Blu-ray sales there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do they still print Blu-rays of the Dean adaptation over there? Like, is it accessible in Japan? Is it streaming on something?
I don't know.
Because it's
know.
The animation series came out like 2 years after the visual novel. I almost said light novel. Not correct. It was like 2006, and FSN obviously because we're doing the 20th now came out in 2004. So like it's been 18 years. I don't know how accessible it is. I'm has anybody done a fucking 4K transfer, an HD transfer even?
I own Fate Stay Night on DVD.
Yeah,
so
it's it's an odd duck. So I could totally see an announcement that they are planning it in the future. What I feel like is more likely for something to actually come out in this year, in the 20th anniversary year, might be a Steam release, because I feel like we've been moving with announcements and movement and stuff for Tsukihime Remake and Mahoyo that they want to let they're gradually coming out of their shell in terms of doing these wider releases on Steam. And I believe that you can only get Fate Stay Night through mobile platforms right now, and the old PS2 version. Is that standalone PC available somewhere? Is it on Steam in Japan? I don't think so, but I could totally see a wider release, maybe a re-release as well on modern gaming consoles, since that also seems to have done very well with Mahoyo and Tsukihime. Not Tsukihime remake levels of detail, but something like the recent HD re-release of Mahoyo.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel like would be appropriate in the Fate time, in the general Masuverse timeline, I should say, and would probably not be too much crazy effort. And that seems like a much more reasonable ask at this point in time than necessarily being UFO Table full anime remake, 24 episodes. I'd like that, but I don't know if that's likely to happen this year. People are busy, y'all. Also, we haven't mentioned it over long, but Nasu was hospitalized for a decent period last year with really bad asthma and stuff. Had to start seeing a specialist. Their plates are pretty full. FSR came out. They're still working on extra record. It is. I think we can say it's in development hell, but it is still being worked on. I don't know. Has Nasu actually said anything? Is he working on the second half of Tsukihime Remake? Is that what he's supposed to be doing right now?
I have no idea.
We're pretty sure that Elden Ring DLC is gonna come out kind of out of nowhere, because they're adding DLC files to their Steam release, so that's probably gonna derail Nasu for a good month. But I don't know what he's doing. Hopefully relaxing when not writing. But yeah, so it's as much as we'd love some real big flash, and the animation, the adaptations of blank the names, Unlimited Blade Works and Heaven's Feel, and obviously Zero. Zero's a very different feel, though. That was early in Ufotable's career. They weren't quite as batshit crazy as they would be later, Didn't have quite as much money. But I would love to see, to fire it out and give it that touch, especially because, there were the again, not to knock it too bad. That was the first Fate anime project I watched was the Dean adaptation. It's not, terrible. There's definitely some stuff with the modeling, and they do some weird stuff to get around the sex scenes, but that's what the PS2 and the mobile ports do anyway. So they were technically revolutionary in that part of the adaptation. So they've got some odd stuff to cram in some some nods to let you know about stuff, right? I don't think Archer ever does the Unlimited Blade Works chant in the Fate route, but they had him do it in the anime because, it's fucking iconic. So there's room for them to expound on some stuff and get some little tippity touches in there. So yeah, we'll see what's up. But yeah, A1 should be working on Strange Fake, which have not heard anything about that. They said it's a full season sometime, but no extra gas right now.
All right then, let's move on. This next one comes from a hunter looking to get rid of a certain YouTuber when NA gets the SR Colac so that YouTuber can't steal all the Yuis. Excuse me, are you planning a crime?
I feel like we're almost catching beef by proxy here. Jeez, do we share any audience with this YouTuber? Should we be concerned?
I'm going to pretend I saw nothing. So, with that,
sorry, somebody just posted, "Nah, it's fine" in the Patreon chat. Jesus Christ, 15 Yuis, son of a bitch, save some for the rest of us.
I think this is why some people are plotting a crime.
Okay, all right, sorry. And then that story took a real turn there.
But this person goes on to say, honestly, I have nothing to say here, but I figure since it's been a hot minute, how about one of those deals where it's a lose-lose for me? One of these. Yes, with Bazette coming out soon and me mostly being able to roll for a bit, I have 450 Saint Quartz saved up. If I can get it without spending, one of the packs I would have spent on a banner will still be yours. Yes, an entire 80 pack to be super chatted in the following stream after my rolls. If she pops up without needing to spend a cent, may the whims of it choose where my money goes. May the odds be in your favor. Have a nice weekend. Well, I'm not going to tell you what it's going to do with your money, especially if it puts money in my pocket. I'm going to need it. God, losing my job like before summer has put my brain into overdrive. Like,
also,
God, I don't even.
I mean, I feel like it seems weird to say, but just last week you were like looking at your upcoming pre-order for P3, being like, "Damn, Past Lucky, what were you doing?" I was like, "Past Lucky said this was Future Lucky's problem."
Yeah, I don't remember if they've actually taken out that payment already. I hope they have.
The package is sealed.
But yeah, that is it for Mailbag.
Very solid 7 for 2 hours ago. Thank you for your comments as always, everybody. Though remember, you don't have to wait for Mailbag to leave a comment. You can leave comments on videos as well. Okay, all right. Mailbag done. Stretch my neck, bones. Do a slight yawn. It's okay. We're all right. We're all right here. How are you? I just start channeling my Han Solo. Anyway, that means it's time for free talk, which means it's time to talk about new servants. All right, what end do you want to start at today, everybody? Do we want to start at the welfare or start at the SSR? I'll let you know if you want to know what order I wrote these in. It is Iori first. Lucky, do you have any particular preference?
No, I don't. Not really.
All right, well, we'll see if the patrons say anything, and if they don't, I'll just start from the top. I don't see anybody typing, so I think we're good. Okay. As I said earlier, as we could expect, Iori is the new welfare. He's here to do some swording. There is arguably an excess of memes about how much swording Iori wants to do.
Yeah, it upsets me slightly.
Though I do want to say, it is funny because he does actually have a list. Or at least that's how the coding works. He has 1 or 2 dialogues for, I think it's basically for servants he wants to fight, you know? He wants to see what they're made of. It is a pretty big list. So, the way, like I said, the way the game works is he basically has a list. Which, I appreciate those memes a little more when it's, like, commenting about who is on his list. He also, by the way, has a interesting one, who, I don't know the exact details, but it checks, all 3 Gilgameshes, Arash, and the 2 Merlins. That's Merlin and Lady Avalon specifically. I'm not really sure, because the text isn't in the wiki yet. I'm not sure what that one is about. I thought it might be about, like, having boss-like energy, but the Merlin editions are interesting. But let's see. It looks like he's got basically any knight of the round. Lots of sabers. So many sabers. Here, I'll post the list for people to check out. God, if this is people he wants to fight. Like I said, the dialogue's not translated into the wiki yet, but this is very funny, because Paris is on this list. Cursed Arm. I know, Cursed Arm's a cool guy. Sherlock's on this list, but Sherlock actually knows martial arts. Melusine, Tyra, Space Ishtar. Beast Draco's on this list, and so is King Protea. So Iori's having fun. I mean, I feel like with Iori, that is the point. I know that some people have exaggerated his, bloodlust, but I feel like the tactician in Iori would definitely be like, how would I fight a giant guy? What would I do?
I mean, no, Iori is kind of a Batman dude who's like, I need to have a plan. Because...
look at King Protea and be like, what am I going to do? I gotta think.
Because, like, I'm not saying that Iori doesn't want to fucking, trade, blades with a bunch of fucking people. It's just, that's not all is gonna be on his goddamn brain.
No.
Like,
one dialogue box out of a whole, full set.
Yeah. But no, I will say, though, I see a lot of people just talking about how Iori's gonna fight everyone in Chaldea, and I'm just like, that's not his character.
Also, not true. He's not gonna fight everybody. He's got a list of servants he thinks is interesting. And he's got, some other things going on in him. And the other couple of themes I've seen in art is one, seeing a lot of Iori and Yui making out.
This is acceptable.
Even though that was the original ending I got in SR, and I need to go back and do my second playthrough sometime. But I'm very shocked that's so popular. But people are into it.
I'm into it.
Also, hey, I mean, not that Yui wasn't cute before, but the bodysuit is suddenly like I said, a lot of people are seeing her in a whole different light. Clearly, this is why she summoned Ushi Gozen.
Protect.
Their secret bodysuit buddies. Anyway, Iori's out here. He's got a decent attack, which, by the way, his attack stat is the exact same as Munenori and Setanta's. And he's got decent HP, not the lowest there. He's got a classic saber deck, quick arts, buster. Good hits. His NP gain is a little low. It's like 0.44, I believe, and he's got like 4 hits on his arts and quick cards. His NP is the one you would expect. It is a single target buster. The buster change is a little interesting, but I guess it does make a little sense. There's no purple card. But it gives him 20% up on buster and quick first for 1 turn, and also gives him sure hit first for 1 turn. So that means when you fire his NP, you will always sure hit unless you are buff blocked. And it generates stars based on overcharge, which I believe is similar to another character. Let me actually count. I think it's a decent amount of stars, too. Yeah, it starts at 10 at 100%, maxes out at 30 at 500%. So you get 20 stars if you've got, like, overcharge +2 and shit. So pretty solid. I always appreciate when NPs have pierce or sure hit, automatically. First skill, it gives him 3 turns of star absorption up, gives him 20 to 30% crit damage, and 5 to 10 stars per turn for those 3 turns. And also, for 3 turns, gives him 30 to 50% mental debuff resist. The way this is translated is as akin to ice, which obviously I would vote for the translation to be cold as ice.
Yeah, I would have said cold as ice, yeah.
Yeah. But that's pretty neat. 50% resistance to mental debuffs, which includes, several stuns. Sleep and Charmer on that list. His second skill is Grandpa Book, Crimson Codex, literally. That's what it's called. And it gives himself a 20 to 30% battery. It gives him 10 to 20% attack up for 3 turns. It gives him an infusion of 10 to 20 critical stars. This boy generates a lot of crit stars. And also, because it gave him, Fire Mage Craft, it burns all enemies for 3 turns, 500 to 1k. I think the burn damage is just there to be funny, to reference his moveset in the game, but it does give you a little extra fun there. And then, final skill is a very interesting one. It's the Sword of 5 Rings. It gives him increased quick arts and buster performance for 3 turns. All of those are 10 to 20%, so he gets the, projection style buff there. Also gives him a 300 to 500 damage cut for 3 turns, just straight up. No number of hits. He just takes 500 less damage for 3 turns. Also gives him a 2 attack, 3 turn evade. So, as you might expect from kind of how he plays in the game, Iori's a very balanced servant. He has a very strong offensive potential with, multiple NP steroids and will always ignore evasion. And also he has very strong defensive potential with, debuff resistance and a hard and soft defense with that damage cut. Very solid. He does not actually get double hits, interestingly enough. I think they're just accounting for that in his animations. Also, his passes are pretty simple. He has MRB and Writing B. I assume those are granted just by virtue of being classed as a saber.
Yeah.
Because sabers get writing and magic resistance. I mean, if he had a little inherent magic resistance to start because he knows Magecraft, wouldn't be shocked, but B's pretty good. So yeah. Iori isn't, I should say this. I haven't actually seen his animations, but I assume they're cool. Other than his NP. Ability-wise, Iori's not super flashy. It's very simple. He generates crit stars. He absorbs crit stars. He does crits. His NP always has sure hit. You will do damage, and hopefully not die. But he's got a lot of buffs, and I said in my notes here, he's surprisingly tanky for otherwise being an aggro servant. I don't think Buster Stall is a thing, but this is a guy who, despite the fact that he is only a 4-star, will have a surprising amount of survivability, even pre any grails you may throw in there. And that's pretty good on an offensive guy you're probably going to be used to hunt bosses. Also, hey, his NP is always sure hit. That's cool. That's a thumbs up in my book. Love those. So, that means we'll move down my list of notes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yui makes a surprise appearance as a caster. It shouldn't be too surprising. I think it's more just that she's in the game at all, but her being a master, first of all, and second of all, kind of being a something homunculus adjacent. There's actually, hold on, they use a term for one of her skills. How do they phrase it? It's unnatural creation, parentheses, subspecies, which is very similar to the guts ability that Ilya and Iori have. So, caster's a good fit, but he has a first ascension, which the internet will be perfectly normal about, I am sure. Never mind that, once again, clearly we got this from... This has to be the Minamoto School of Guidance. We have fucking inner thigh windows in this bodysuit. Every other part of the leg is covered except for the inner thigh. Also, I assume she is not cold because of her magecraft. Otherwise, it would look cold. It's snowing.
Clearly, she got some fashion advice from Ushi Gozen.
Yeah, I'd believe it. I'm kind of sad that Ushi Gozen doesn't have a full armor ascension, but also I think it makes sense because they're, classing her differently. Or doing very slightly different things, but more on that later. So, for caster stats, this really shouldn't surprise people too much, but Yui is straight up tied with Medea Lily for stats. That means she has the lowest attack for a 4-star caster and the highest HP. Her HP is higher than some 5-star casters who are more offensive oriented. I think she actually has like more HP than Ashe, the savior.
Oh wow.
Ashe has very high attack and I believe has, as a result, fairly low HP. So like, yeah, no. Lily has some Medea Lily, I should say, has some very extreme stats, and like I said, Yui's are literally the same. So, like you'd expect for a caster, she's 1 quick, 1 buster, triple arts, average hits and NP gain, which is pretty good. She's got 3 hits on her arts cards, and has 0.54, almost said 0.45, nope, 5.4 NP gain, 4 hits on her 1 quick card. So, very interesting stuff. And her NP is a pretty unique arts support NP. It is non-dablaging. But the way this works is, basically, it checks if your allies have a card up buff. This excludes story buffs and CE-related buffs. So, any case where you don't have the status effect with the unremovable tag. But what it does do is, based on NP level, it will give enemies with quick performance up, attack up. If they have arts up, they will get crit up. And if they have buster up, they will get NP up. These are all roughly similar stat lines, so the attack up and NP damage up is 20 to 30%, the crit up is 30 to 50%. Also, based on overcharge, it's a big fucking heal. It starts at 3k, and maxes at 7k. So you will want those extra copies, because damn. I mean, I guess we're acknowledging we have to compete with Medea Lily in this slot, basically, but like, boy, that's a big heal. And still, yeah, some very interesting, buffs up there. And the buffs on the NP are for 3 turns also. So hypothetically, you can loop them around if they've still got their, card up colors. So, her first skill is, I mentioned before, it's a little bit like Iori and Ilya's Guts. It's a 1-time 5-turn Guts for 2k to 3k, and it's also a 500 to 1000 HP per turn for 5, so very long longevity there, and is a 1-time 3 turns debuff immunity. So, already, Yui's pretty tanky. When you've got a, minimum 3k heal on every NP fire, and you can recover HP every turn, maximum at 1k. Also, by the way, the buff lasts for 5 turns, and minimum cooldown is 6 turns, so you're looking at only 1 turn off on this. Second skill is going to be a 10 to 20% battery for the whole party. Gives every other member of the party, because she doesn't have a damaging NP, 20 to 30% NP damage up for 3 turns. Gives you 5 to 15 stars per turn for 3 turns, and reduces all enemies' attacks by 10 to 20% for 3 turns. So very, very solid multi-fold battery. And her final skill, Magecraft Elemental, gives a targeted arts buff to an ally, 20 to 30%. That means that I guess you can always trigger her critical up buff on her NP, because you can give allies a arts up. Also gives them a further 20 to 30% crit up as well for 3 turns, and charges her own NP gauge 20 to 30%. Passives are Territory Creation C+, for increased arts performance, and Item Construction C for increased debuff performance. So yeah, Yui's a very interesting, support member. She kind of molds herself to your team comp. Obviously, she can, like I said, proc the arts half of the buff herself, but depending on, what kind of team you're bringing and what supports you're bringing, she can perfectly slot into the squad. If you're doing, like, a Castoria comp, you can apply the, arts up with Castoria to get that buff going with a Yui NP. If you've got like a Merlin in the squad, you can, get the buster up. I don't actually, let me double check. Scotty does do straight up quick performance up, right? And it's not just quick critical up. I'm trying to remember Scotty's mechanics.
Yeah, she has a big crit buff on her. I mean, not crit buff, a quick buff on her.
Yeah, so basically, whichever, yes, okay, it's quick performance and then critical damage with quick cards. I was trying to remember if it was weird. Yeah, okay. So, basically, whatever your preferred color of, 5-star caster is, Yui can supplement them. She can also, work with other stuff. I do want to say you do have to, only use it on servants and comps where you're firing your buffs first, because the way her NP works, it's not like a lingering effect that her buffs trigger. It's if you have an ally in your party that has the certain type of card effectiveness up, she will trigger that buff on them. So you can't use it and just use NPs that fire, card buffs ahead of time. Like, for instance, if you were going to pair her with Iori, clip that out of context, do you like internet? You would have to use Iori's 3rd skill first in order to get him juiced up and not rely on the fact that his NP also gives Buster and Quick Up. That does, however, mean that servants like Iori, who have, all 3 card types up, Emiyas who have, and also Muramasa, who have, projection type effects to give all 3 card types up, they will basically, always get all 3 of Yui's buffs, which will probably be pretty spiced. It's a freaking, at maxed out NP level, you can get, 30% attack up for 3 turns. Even at its base level, it's basically a charisma. And then, she seems like a great way to farm Overcharge by just putting her first in line, when you're doing an NP chain. And you've got big heals here. With how prevalent plus Overcharge is, you don't even necessarily need her at NP5, You get her to 300%, that's a 5k heal on a caster with, average NP gain and 3 arts cards, and who has a 50% battery, technically. Like, there is some opportunity for some big slamma-jamma heals. And while she is limited, that is arguably, in our current environment, better than Medea Lily's status as story-locked, because you will have opportunities to roll Yui on stuff, like in lucky bags and stuff, whereas Medea Lily is really hard to get if you didn't get her. I should know, I don't have one. I've got a lot of weird limited ones. And then to close us out for the free talk time, we're going to talk about our adorable small mother, who is an Avenger, and is quick OE. Damn it. I know, we're all hoping and praying for a second single target Buster Avenger. But I don't know, I guess they're worried that that's kind of Jolter's one thing, and if you take that away, who knows what we'll do. But she does have a very interesting deck here. She's got quick arts Buster with slightly above average NP gen and high hit counts, actually. She has 3 quick cards, and they are 6 hit, which is pretty good. And her NP gain is also 0.55, so, like, you be doing some generation there. You'll be gassing. Also, you'll probably be generating a lot of stars. So, her attack is basically the lowest of Avenger SSRs, but as a result, her HP is pretty good, and considering, the way Avengers are, that's still, fairly decent. You can make it work. So, I mentioned the NP, but she's going to hit all enemies with crit chance down by 30% for 3 turns. I wrote this in my notes as quick down. That's incorrect. It's critical chance down for 3 turns by 30%, which is pretty big. It has a 40% chance to stun, so similar to a lot of, other AoE low stuns. You don't necessarily count on it, but it's funny when it happens. And her overcharge effect is to do bonus damage to enemies with the Earth attribute. Normal percentages there. Also, it is a, 6-hit quick AoE. So there's still some farming potential in there, if you were aiming for, like, big bonkling. So her first skill is a trait damage. 2 trait damages, actually. So you've got 30 to 50% damage up versus demonic trait enemies for 3 turns. And then also a separate 30 to 50% damage up against servants specifically that are Earth attribute. So enemies in general have hidden attributes. This is just applying that if they are a servant with the Earth attribute, they also take the bonus damage. And it also gives her 20 to 30% crit damage up for 3 turns. And I think I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure this is the name of this is after. Yeah, it's Minamoto no Reiko's sword, the Dojikiro Yatsuna, which is probably why it does, anti-demonic damage. But second skill is Mana Burst Thunderclap. This gives you 20 to 30% quick up and 20 to 30% buster up for 3 turns. Perfectly normal steroids. And also, it gives her a on-attack buff for 5 attacks, 3 turns, which increases her critical damage when attacking with quick cards for 3 turns, which activates first. The crit damage activates first. So basically, let me think. The best way to describe this there. So when she makes an attack with her quick cards, her critical damage goes up for 3 turns. You can do this up to 5 times. And it procs first, so if that hit with a quick card is about to be a crit, which is entirely possible because of the way they rework quick, you get the benefits right away. Which is pretty good. There's definitely some effects that need to be a little more in that realm, We've had a lot of time to figure out how to make buffs better, and these are pretty good buffs. That said, her third skill is probably the big one, your big push skill. It gives her 1 turn of really big star absorption. At level 10, it's 2,000%, which is a lot. She will probably have the biggest star absorb unless you have somebody else with the hero absorption buff. It increases her own critical damage by 30 to 50% for 1 turn. This is on top of the fact that she has another skill, which gives you 3 turns of 20 to 30%, so you're probably like 80% crit damage for that turn. And it gives her 1 turn of 20 to 30% NP damage, and is also a 30 to 50% battery. That's right. This servant has a 50% battery. Sorry, that's me pausing to debate getting my water, which I will go do. Okay. Now that I get my water, I can continue talking at length. For passives, she's got the classic 3 Avenger passives. Avenger, increase NP generation when taking an attack, but it's only like a D rank. Oblivion Correction B, so she always has 8% crit damage up anyway, so that means you're looking at like 88%. Oh, hey, also, by the way, that means Self-Replenishment Magic A, she generates 3.8% NP every turn. That's right, this character that already has super high hit counts on quick, decent NP gain, and a 50% battery also just always generates basically 4% NP every turn. But in addition to that, she has Raiko's classic Madness Enhancement EX, so that 1 buster card will hurt, and has a special Divinity for a slight damage increase, but also her quick cards always have 20% extra crit damage. Always. Scratchy hands. But yeah, so Ushi Gozen has a lot of damage. So competition with Dante's is pretty steep, but Ushi Gozen should be a decent comparison. She has trait damage everywhere, she has plenty of enhancement, and your crit turn follow-ups will be pretty gnarly. And I'm sure, of course, you can abuse overkill bugs. Also, while I have heard a little bit of the usual critique about Raita's work, for the most part, I don't really put much stock in people's comments about it. The 3rd Ascension shot, which is used for her NP, is pretty neato. I believe I shouted out loud when this was first shown. I was like, they let Raita into the kitchen. He's cooking. I do want to say, though, for her 3rd Ascension, one of her legs does almost look like overextended. Like, her knee is, like, all the way forward, which is very weird because her other knee is bent and, like, it looks a little off. Other than that, though, very interesting ideas. The hair horns with the eyeballs, that's sufficiently freaky. That's a good idea. Oh, and I wasn't really thinking about it, but she's definitely got the, like, weird pink thing that Summer Raiko has in her 3rd Ascension. There were some jokes I was going to make as I'm looking at this Ascension art as well, but I won't. Also, this art does not really show off this fucking crazy bullshit in this sprite. This sprite is super extra. Oh, okay. That's weird. Sorry, Chad. I was looking at the first couple Ascension sprites blown up, and I didn't realize that the inside of Ushi Gozen's hair is, like, colored in pink. I was like, is she blowing bubblegum? But yeah, so, new servants. They're cool. Well, I've resumelated, so you can reiterate your comments there.
Oh, I can't remember what they were.
Well, I was talking about some of Ushi Gozen's sprites. Have you seen her actual 3rd sprite, not just the Ascension?
Yes, I have.
Alright, yes. Fucking floating robo-arms.
No, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I know some people are sometimes like, they're getting lazy with their sprite work and stuff, and I'm like, I don't think so. Some designs are simple, some are not. Some fucking advanced shit there with the floaty bits. Also, once again, as usual, as people like to do the it's over, we're so back cycle. Anybody who was like, weak collab doesn't mean anything. I'm pretty sure FGO went back up to like number 2 in downloads in JP again as a result. So, shit's working. But, other than looking forward to that in a couple of years, though that will be probably not timely at all, but, we'll get the servants. Unless that's when Fate Samurai Remnant 2 comes out. No, it won't work like that. Went all the way to number 1. Nice. That means we're done with free talk for now. Yes, I know some of you may be wondering, like, oh, hey, weren't you going to mention talking about Rail Zeppelin? 1, I'm not fully done yet, and 2, Lucky hasn't done any of it, so.
None of it.
It's not a full discussion point. Oh. So, I will itch my nose, and we'll move on to the What's Up zone, and talk about things that we can talk about. First up, anime, probably.
Probably.
Lucky, you've watched a lot of anime.
Yes, I have. Actually, well, only on Crunchyroll. I haven't gone through my high dive list yet. I do know there's a couple that I want to check out on there, but again, this is like, people are gonna hem and haw and bitch and moan about, all their streaming services, but there's something that I can appreciate about Crunchyroll, that it has a fucking PlayStation app that I can use on my TV, and I don't have to go sitting on my fucking computer to watch anime.
Oh, how is that?
And no, I'm not gonna listen to any suggestions. Oh, you can just plug your computer into your fucking TV. No, fuck you.
Well, I mean, that's really dependent on where you've got space for things.
Yeah, I know, but people always tend to assume that whatever they setup they have, other people will be able to replicate easily and find it and think that other people are stupid that they can't. You know who you are.
I've had some comments about some questions about my setup before, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty. I have physically, I have room space, but I don't have a lot of surfaces. There's only so much place the shit can go. But you haven't been having any problems with the Crunchyroll app on PlayStation?
No.
Okay, good.
I almost never have problems with it.
I remember, I think it was just the PS4 version. I remember their first stab at it was a little. Was the Funimation app they ran? It was a little scuffed. Maybe
I think it was the Funimation app.
I should go ahead and download my Crunchyroll app then on my PlayStation. As the not a lot, but all the anime I've watched lately has actually been on my TV, other than the evening we spent me streaming my DVDs of Ghost in the Shell, which was through my computer, but it's been on TV, so I'll have to remember to download that and fire it up. Or we already have it downloaded and I haven't logged it in. Anyway, continue.
Let's see here. So we're officially in the winter core, and a lot of things are out. I am not particularly interested in talking about things that are still going. I literally can't go into the fucking anime manga spoilers without seeing people having some sort of discussion about either One Piece or Jujutsu Kaisen. That's all they talk about in there.
I feel perfectly fine knowing that I'm not even in that thread then. I was like, oh yeah, we do have one of those, and then you're like, it's all One Piece and JJK, and I'm like, I'm good.
But actually, let me pull up my Crunchyroll here. I will pause Hard Space Shipbreaker. Pull up my Crunchyroll app.
A firm nod and a gripping of my chin. Yes.
But let's see here. Let me pull up my watch list, because that'll be fresh. And let's see here. Yeah, it looks like I've watched 13 things on Crunchyroll, but let's see here. Free Rent Beyond Journey to End is continuing, so we won't talk about that. It is just good. You should watch it. So first off, what I've been watching so far is Seventh Time Loose, the villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. It's an interesting story. It's not an isekai, but it does involve reincarnation about a princess villainess who has lived is on her seventh life, each time reappearing right after the moment the crown prince says begone thought. Actually, is thought even really used in modern terms? I don't hear it a lot.
I think it fell off pretty fast. It hit peak memeage at begone thought and then just left the lexicon like so many things do.
It really did, but I'm still gonna use it. But she is a strong, independent woman who needs no man and has used these 7 lives to live a bunch of lives. She lives as a merchant, a doctor, a scholar, a maid, a guard. And on her 7th life, she's decided that she's going to live a carefree life. But alas, things take a turn when a dark and a charming, cold prince character who killed her in her last life, meets up with her and be like, "You be my wife," and she's all like, "What?" And right now it only has 2 episodes out right now, but I do enjoy it. The main character is, how do I want to say this? She's not like headstrong and stubborn, but like I said, she is a strong, independent woman, and it's very nice to see. So it's only 2 episodes, but I do think I would recommend it. Let's see here. Next here, we got The Unwanted Undead Adventurer. We are up to 3 episodes on this. This is another reincarnation one, but with more a power fantasy bit. A low rank adventurer meets a secret boss and gets killed, turns him into an undead. So now he is trying to continue his adventurer's life while also balancing the problems that being an undead monster has to be. Luckily, he has a few turns of fortune and some not so good ones. If you're a fan, if you're a fan of stat progression fantasies, you might give it a try. That doesn't seem necessarily overpowered or OP, and does seem to be taking slow steps with things, so it could be good. Next, that is on my watch list, Sasaki and Peeps. This is an isekai, but we'll call it a non-traditional one. Sasaki is a 40-year-old office salaryman who to help him with his life decides to get a pet. and he gets a Java sparrow he names Peeps. Turns out that Peeps is actually a reincarnated mage from another world known as the Star Sage, and gives Sasaki the ability to travel between worlds and use magic. Of course, Sasaki uses this to start making money and live a better life, but things start getting weird where he starts running into, psychics and magical girls. There's a lot of psychics and magical girls. There's a lot of underage girls in this anime. I'm slightly concerned. I'm gonna be real, but it's cute.
I do kind of feel like if you are including magical girls, that is one hard to avoid.
Yeah. Let's see here. Next up, I've been watching Hokkaido Gals, are super adorable. It's what it says on the tin. A Tokyo high school, a high school boy from Tokyo moves out to Hokkaido, specifically, I believe, the Katami area, and just meets a bunch of cute girls and starts getting along with them, living his best life. It's cute. That's all you need to know. Next on my list that I've watched so far, Tales of Wedding Rings. I'm not sure necessarily how I want to feel about this one. This one right now seems to be more the fan service type of story. Basic story is, one day 10 years ago, a boy met a girl who came through a magical portal, and then 10 years later, they go back through the magical portal, and the boy follows them because he doesn't want that girl to get married. But turns out getting married gives you super awesome power bound to your rings. But alas, you have to go get all 5 rings from all 5 princesses to be able to defeat the big bad. And Jesus Christ, all these 5 girls are beauties.
Oh no, whatever will he do?
So it's only on episode 2. I don't think this one's necessarily going to be very deep, but it does have good animation. And like I said, the character designs are, you can't see it, but okay hand. So this one is the one that surprised me. I didn't know this was happening, but Burn the Witch is actually releasing 7 episodes right here.
Okay, that answers a question I just had. Because while you've been talking, I've been like, oh shit, let's throw some shit on my Crunchyroll watch list. And I saw Burn the Witch, and I was like, huh, that's weird. Did they have some new OVAs?
I don't know if it's a full OVA, but it does seem like they are starting a new series of it. I believe it just has 1 episode, and it does. It seems to actually be the beginning of the story. The OVA series that they did before seems to be like a kind of a middle of a thing.
Yes, if I remember rightly, having read the manga one shot and seen the original OVA they did, it was definitely like the first run of the OVA was like the highlights of the like manga one shot or whatever, like all the best bits.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely did seem a little in media res.
So, actually, I have actually read a few mangas with magical girl myths. It's kind of funny actually, but.
Sorry, that was a side conversation that's been going on in there.
Yeah. Sorry, but Burn the Witch, like I said, if you've seen the OVA, it's the same thing. 2 pipers for Wing Bind, which is basically the Western branch of Soul Society, are going around solving dragon-related problems. And in the first episode, they meet, God, I can't remember his name now. It's Bonso, and his dog. And yes, starts from the beginning is just a horn dog. It's good animation though. Definitely, I am excited to see where it goes here.
Yeah, I remember the OVA had a very high production value as well, so I'm glad to see that's continuing.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, what else have I started here? Villainous level 99. I may not be the hidden boss, but I am not the demon lord. I actually really do enjoy this one. Again, it is the Stark standard trope. A girl dies, wakes up in the body of a villainess. She is a hardcore gamer, though, and decides that she doesn't actually care about the game story and just wants to grind as much as she can. So before she actually makes it to high school, she has reached level 99, and this has confused people. I will say, like, one of the reasons why I love this is the main character, the villainous character, is voiced by Ai Farals, and she's doing that low emotionless voice. You'll know what I'm talking about when you hear it.
I may have to watch it just for iForose.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of where I am at for right now. It's pretty comedic and funny because, like I said, she plays a completely like almost emotionless character, so all her deliveries are like super dry, and it's pretty good.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
No, it's good.
For people who don't recognize right away, iPhotos, of several roles, but the one in FGO you might recognize her from is she's, Nagiko.
Yeah.
but also did other roles such as Jolene Cujo and the Japanese dub actress for Ramona Flowers in the new anime. So, a lot of range.
No, that's good. Next up, following this one that apparently been a lot of hype, is Solo Leveling. This one is based off the Korean light web novel manhwa of the same name. Main character is a hunter. They must go through gates that have appeared in modern times and hunt monsters so they may make money so they can, buy stuff. I just want to say, this is one of those things I've noticed about Korean manhwas and whatnot. They usually have a big obsession with gaining money and power. Romance always comes like fifth.
I kind of feel like that seems like a tone that probably resonates a lot in Korea. I know that they have like some issues with like wealth disparity and stuff. That's technically what the song Gangnam Style is about. The Gangnam Style is like I think it's like a really rich neighborhood, like a party town in Korea. Mm. So like they've been making joke references to that for like 10 years. So
yeah, but no, so that's what it is. It's just when I saw the first episode, I decided I'd sit down and read the entire manhwa and the side stories. And even though there are several women who are interested in him, he shows like literally zero interest in them until the side stories. And he's like, okay, now it's time for romance. After he has, defeated everyone, become the top of the world, and, saved everything. It's an interesting change in what I normally like read and whatnot. But
yes, it also probably says a lot about Japan that there's a lot of stories that are about, whether it's, comfy normal stuff to find romance or, wish fulfilling harem stuff of just like, man, what if there was lots of chicks? What if we weren't experiencing a population shrinkage?
But it's like I said, it's good. Like I read the entire manhwa and I think it's all right as a story. A lot of people are like, apparently, like it's super popular. I don't necessarily understand why, but I'm also someone who is much more romantically inclined. Like I have troubles getting into the story if there is not at least some romance in there. So that might just be on me.
And I'm going to say, I don't know a lot about it, but it is one of those things that I've been hearing about, like, oh, did you know they're going to make an anime adaptation of Solo Leveling? And, like, it's the kind of series that people have been hyped about getting an adaptation. I think it's just kind of, like, in the manhwa space, it's kind of in a really interesting, like, big milestone kind of moment for its, level of popularity and adaptation.
See, the one that I need, the Korean manhwa that I need to make into an anime is Everyone Else's Returnee. That was my first Korean light novel that I ever read, and it still lives deep within my breast. And that one actually had romance in it. It's like, you can do it, Koreans. I believe in you. So, let's move on to the next one. The next one here that I've been watching here is 'Tis Time for Torture Princess. This one is a big fat comedy, and I love it to bits. I've been reading the manga almost forever. But the story is the princess of a kingdom at war with the demon kingdom gets captured and put into a cell. And every day she has to go through tortures. Those tortures include having game tournaments, being fed yummy food, taking hot spring breaks, and just basically putting her into so much goo that she just blabs kingdom secrets. It is going to be good. The animation is good. The voice work is good. Like it only has like 2 episodes right now, but please give it if you want something a bit funny, a bit nonsensical but funny and warm-hearted at the same time. Please give 'Tis Time for Torture Princess a go. It is better than you think.
Well, I got a little chuckle tickle out of you just describing it. It's great.
No, it's like the first I'll explain the situation. The first episode, the first time she's tortured, the head torturer, torturer, brings in a dude in the Iron Maiden and reveals that it's a piece of toast, of warm toast, and she does things like fan the scent over to it, cracks it open so she can hear the crackling of it, and then for the final blow, she brings a pan of beef stew and uses the bread to like wipe up the sides of it and acts like she's gonna eat it, and the princess is just losing her fucking mind over it because she wants to eat the bread. Mind you, she hasn't been actually tortured in any way. She's given like foods and meals and all that stuff. It's just she really wants to have that piece of toast right then. It's Good. Like, oh, another one was like, having late night ramen. Which was some other ones like just candies and stuff. It's super silly, and I'm hoping it gets to the parts that I wanted to, because there are some great characters in there. Like Hell Lord is like one of the best dudes ever. It's great.
Honestly, just in general, that sounds like a great. I mean, technically, a situation literally is a situational comedy of just like, hey, so we're gonna call this thing about torture princess, and we're gonna say it's about torture, but it's like a huge subversion of itself, and that's the joke.
No, like she actually, like, I read the manga, and she basically just lives there, and like, it's a bit of a spoiler, but she just becomes so used to it that she's actually, even though she's a prisoner, she can just wander around, and she hangs out with all the other demons and stuff, and does stuff. It's a complete subversion of it. So a lot of people compare it to like, what was the name? Sleepy Princess and the Demon Scheme Castle, and it kind of is, but it's a little bit more. Excuse me, I should say it's a lot less chaotic than that series is.
I'm nodding along.
Let's see here. Next up, I've watched. I'm trying to do my best at the isekais. Fluffy Princess, not particularly crazy. A girl, a woman, office lady dies. God's like, that sucked. I need you to do a job for me. Do you want any power? And the woman just screams from the depths of her heart. She wants to be able to pet fluffy things. I'm like, I understand this. So God gives her the ability to basically befriend any animal and sends her on her way. Q being like a 3 or 4 year old girl who can basically befriend any animal, much to the consternation to amazement of everyone. This includes such beings as divine beasts, like a white tiger or a red dragon. It's not necessarily deep at the moment, but like I said, it's cute. And I like cute things. Let's see here. What is this one called? The Strongest Tanks Labyrinth Raids. This one also follows a pattern that has been the trend in a while. Been following a trend for a while of a actually super useful character is kicked out of their party because the main hero dude is a fucking dick. In this case, it is their tanks who uses some weird abilities that he doesn't even understand. But because he needs to find a medicine for his very sick little sister, and he is a complete and utter siscong, he has to keep going on. Like I said, there's nothing necessarily special about it so far. Seems very bare basic, but not necessarily bad.
That definitely feels like a trend that's been firing up lately. Is like we've gone from the and I mean we still have stories that are like that, but we've got stories where like, all right, you've been isekai'd, you're a hero now. Everything is perfectly fine. Everything you want. You're just gonna fucking jam out. And then we've moved on to, like, people's commentary on that, which is like, hey, what if that guy who's got the big, H sewn on his jacket, it was like, what if he was a doofus? What if he was a dickhead? What do you do then?
Yeah. We've had a lot of that. Let's see. And finally here...
Personally, I prefer the version we see in Dungeon Meshi, which is, what if the leader of your party was just a huge nerd? About cooking.
No, he's not a huge nerd about cooking. He's a huge nerd about eating monsters.
In general, he's a huge monster nerd. This just also applies to cooking and killing and eating them.
Yeah. But the last one that I've watched on Crunchyroll is Mr. Villain's Day Off, in which it is a Sentai parody, in which the main character is a general of the Dark Organization against the Sentai team. But it's never about the battles of the Sentai team. It's always about his days off. He likes going to the zoo and looking at pandas, going grocery shopping. And he often runs into the Sentai team and he's just like, I'm not going to fight today. It's my day off. And it usually gets by.
Yeah, that's actually, I don't know a lot about what the makeup of Sentai teams is in the Japanese version. Like, I feel like in America with Power Rangers, that would probably fly because most of those guys are teenagers with attitude, What's that? You're not going to fucking blow up the juice bar? Cool. Great. I'll take the day off.
No, that is definitely a genre that I know there's a TV Tropes name for it or something, but
go-kart just Bowser.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it because I was just making the go-karting joke.
It's just one of those things of like, no, I like it when villains are just like, no, it's my day off. I'm gonna go do something completely mundane and normal. It's
I appreciate, and that especially going with Bowser as the like example, the classic move where like one game Bowser can be like fucking absorbing new magical powers to change all of creation, looking at you, Super Mario Wonder. And the next game, it's like Mario's like, "Hello, do you want to go golf?" Bowser's like, "Yeah, okay. Let me get my hat."
No, so I do enjoy Mr. Villain's Day Off. It has that kind of subversive humor of, like, he's completely dedicated to destroying humanity at the same time, but you see him bonding with, like, certain ones. Like in the latest episode, he meets a boy who wants to be an animal doctor, and they just bond over wanting to touch cute things. Like, he learns how to pet a bunny and just all that stuff, and he's just like, I'll destroy you last, and such things.
That sounds fun.
It is fun. That's it for Crunchyroll. I have not got onto High Dive because there are a couple I do want to watch on there. Shamed Soldier. I still don't like that name. You will never let me make that. Like, never make me like that.
And I believe that's not a literal translation, is it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I've been hearing this discussion about that and about this season, Dungeon Meshi or Delicious in Dungeon. I think either is acceptable. It has been called Delicious in Dungeon officially in English for a long time. It's just calling it Dungeon Meshi. Is easy to remember because they say it every episode, and also it is less characters on a keyboard. Never forget, short is sometimes better. You can get a short mnemonic, it's easier.
But I did actually watch Dungeon Meshi myself. Did watch, was it 3 episodes out now?
Yes, 3 episodes out as of yesterday.
And so I have been enjoying that.
It's a choice one. This week's episode was particularly good because, like, Trigger got to flex some of their action shit.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking to myself as I was watching the Living Armor episode, I'm like, oh yeah, right, Trigger's making this. This is fucking really smooth. This action looks really good. I forgot. Yeah, it's a good time.
It's a good time. I don't know if I necessarily have to say anything good about that. Everyone should know. It's just literally a dungeon diving team loses a member to a dragon and escapes, and now they're trying to get back there as quickly as possible before she is digested. And
I will say Delicious in Dungeon is kind of like it's a little bit on that subversive edge, but in like the interesting world building way. Like it's a very classic dungeon for no reason setup.
Yes.
Like in the first episodes, it's explained literally a nearby village like was doing some remodeling in their graveyard, and the fucking Skeleman came out and is like, "Hello, I am an ancient king of a lost kingdom. We are cursed by an evil wizard. Defeat the wizard and get the treasure. Bye." And just they revealed a dungeon. But like because it's about cooking, there's also a lot of thoughts about like monster ecology. Which you don't normally get into.
Oh yeah, talking about like how like certain carnivorous plants work and
like talking about like, oh, if there's no sunlight, are these branches? And she's like, no, roots.
Another like weird detail is when they tripped the traps, the oil that was used in it was olive oil, and they're like, yeah, no, like this region had like a lot of oil, so it'd be the most economic. I was just like, it's always those little details.
Yeah, lots of little thoughts. It's good. It's a good time.
It's good. But yeah, that's all that I have watched. I'll probably be getting like a couple more. I meant to start watching more Blue-Eyed Samurai, but like I said, I've been catching up on like so much stuff. I was actually finishing up a few other things from like last core that I hadn't, and I'm trying to go through my list and remove some other things.
Well, yeah, and if it's like, again, that's a different app, so.
Yeah. App jumping is hard for me. I like being, again, I know a lot of people like don't like, Crunchyroll and stuff, but it has the most anime for me that I want, and I enjoy it. And Netflix is weird to me every time I try. I don't know why.
I know that sometimes, because they're doing like simulcasting and stuff, there are times when I think whoever's on the translation team, God knows if that's like, if those people like literally work at Crunchyroll, right?
Mm-hmm.
In our current fucked up gig economy. But sometimes the subtitles are a little less than clean. I remember, seeing a discussion on like, I think it was a Reddit thread somewhere about, talking about like the golden days of like, what do you remember about like a really interesting, dub or sub or where stuff was changed? And it's like, yeah, some fan subs are really cool. There were times when I got some guys who were actually like, yeah, let me get you some notes, fam, like some real notes, not the
like, no shit, I genuinely miss when fan subbers would put the little details of what something was meant on there. I love that. I love that shit to death.
Yeah.
Like, yes, explain shit to me as we go. I can pause.
And also, I know that, like, for manga chapters, for instance, you would often have, TL notes at the back, right? Like, liner notes, basically. Which does now actually happen sometimes with official translations, but it there was definitely something when it was not professional where it was like, shit, we might have to throw some notes out here. Like, so there's some stuff that is lost, but also I remember some fucking, race to the bottom. We've got to get this turned around right now, fan subs too that are, blocky as hell. And same with scanlations. Many people know about, the awful Duang translation of JoJo Part 4, which was like retranslated through, a Chinese reader into English as like their project. And it's like, yeah, I can appreciate both. I think Crunchyroll does a good job of centralizing and usually is pretty on the ball with stuff. And yeah, Netflix is as we said, very, very odd. I have myself been watching a few episodes of what is billed as a Netflix exclusive, the anime Onmyoji, because I happened to be watching an episode of Delicious in Dungeon and it finished, and they're like, "Yo, fam, you want to see this?" And I'm like, "Do I want to see this?" And I'm like, "Shit, I want to see this." I will say Netflix is really good about that because they like play trailers and stuff the moment I log in. Like, they have caught me off guard with some shows. I think that's how I got into Blue Eye Samurai. I was just tiling into like rewatch an episode of Castlevania or something, or maybe it was to watch Captain Laserhawk, and they were just like, "Hey, you want to see this?" And I'm like, "Shit, Netflix, I do." You got me. You're pretty good at this shit. So yeah, I've watched a few episodes of that. It's nothing special. I don't know if it's a particular. Let me check if I can find any background information. It's pretty recent. I think it's from it's from last year technically, but I don't know if it's got like. Okay, yes, it is an adaptation of the novel from like the 2000s. Not related to the gacha game you've heard of from the 2010s, but it's the pretty typical stuff. It's called Onmyoji. Abe no Seimei is in it. Hashio Doman is in it. Doman is I mentioned this off stream to Lucky and some others. Doman is a tanned woman, though they do at least comment like Seimei is like, "Hey, last time I saw you, you were an 80-year-old man," and Doman's like, "Who cares? Look at my weird rat with wings." So it's got the stuff that I'm a sucker for because it's about Abe no Seimei, and also it's just full of like fucking demons and Onmyoji magic and stuff. But I've watched like 4 or 5 episodes of that. But if Crunchyroll has a good app, I'll plug that in, and I'll have to go through the hell of fucking making sure I'm logged in correctly, and probably have to answer an email or a text or something.
Probably.
Because it's not enough that and yes, I know one-factor authentication, it's not as secure, but it's like, damn, dude, having my fucking password and username is not enough? Probably not, no, because you guys will fucking lose my password. But anyway. Well, I feel like, though, talking about Crunchyroll Anime, though, that's a pretty decent segue because the nominees for Anime Awards have been announced.
That it has.
And I have pulled them up us. If you want to talk through them real quick. Let me see, how long have we been going? We're still under 2 hours of showtime. So we can roll it out a little. So, your nominees, we won't linger too super long, I think, but you've got the big ones. Anime of the year, your choices are Bocchi the Rock, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, the Swordsmith Village arc specifically, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Oshi no Ko, and Vinland Saga Season 2. I feel like this is all of the highlights of last year, yes.
Yeah.
Glad to see Bocchi on there. Haven't watched it yet myself, but I've seen the clips.
Nah. I personally vote for Bocchi, but that's because I have a strong bias, and I don't watch as much MAPPA anime as other people do.
Also, like, with the exception of Bocchi, all of these are, like, action-ass anime, except for Oshi no Ko, I believe.
Yeah. Oshi no Ko is a dramatic-ass drama.
Yeah, that's a very dramatic... I don't remember off the top of my head what the, like, twists and turns and, like, first episode spoilers were, but I remember it had a lot of, like, agonizing in your seat kind of stuff going on.
Oh no, I didn't watch the anime. That's because I read the manga, and I'm all like, I was mentally laughing at everybody.
Yes, you had already experienced that stuff. So like, while all of those are big names, it is kind of interesting to see like you've got these actiony and dramatic hitters, some of which are both action and drama, and then hey, did you watch this anime about girls with rock? I feel like the Anime Awards sometimes has the similar problems to like the VGAs every year because they also have Best Continuing Series. Half of these are in the other fucking nomination category because they've got Attack on Titan final season, the final chapter, special 1.
What does this even mean? I don't know.
Whatever release of Attack on Titan that actually finished it. Demon Slayer for the Swordsmith Village arc, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, One Piece. No specific season or arc mentioned because One Piece is just One Piece. Spy Family, specifically Season 1, Core 2, and Vinland Saga Season 2. All of which, again, all the shit you would expect. It'll probably be AOT because the people who are still watching AOT are invested. You could, if you listen closely, you can hear my mental Rolodex flipping through words. We'll go with invested. But Best New Series actually has some different names in there.
Mm-hmm.
We got Bocchi the Rock, Chainsaw Man, Heavenly Delusion, which that name, I wonder if that's known by a different name, because that doesn't sound familiar to me at all. Hell's Paradise, Oshinoko, and Zom 100.
Those are all very good ones. Zom 100, Oshinoko, and Bocchi the Rock would probably be my picks. I'm not sure which one I would pick between all that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Bocchi the Rock does have a good space in my heart, but Oshinoko is just that good. Once you get past like the initial twist and start getting into dream, this was something that was written by Aka Akasaka, who did Love Is War.
Mm-hmm.
So they are very good at writing, But yeah, and Zom 100 is something that you wouldn't think would be so popular, but it is just because it's such a subversion of the zombie genre.
Yeah, I mean they're calling it Bucket List of the Dead. We're going to be doing some different stuff. But yeah, so, I mean, I strongly suspect it will be Chainsaw Man, again, because internet, investment. But Bocchi the Rock was also, like, a big stealth slam. Like, people were not expecting that to be a big hit, and it was.
I knew it from the moment I saw it. I tried telling people, but did they listen? Nay.
Yep. So, next we have Best Film. You got a Black Clover film, Blue Giants, Kaguya-sama Love Is War, The First Kiss That Never Ends, Psycho-Pass Providence, which I didn't even know there was another Psycho-Pass movie out. I clicked on this on Crunchyroll, and it has a mostly positive review score, so, shit, I might have to watch that. Psycho-Pass as a franchise is in a very weird spot, right? The first season fucking kills. The second season was trying way too hard to be the first season, and it was not as good, because half the characters were fucking dead. Thanks for Uchi. So, it was a weird time. I think I heard that the first movie was a decent, return to form. Like I said, this Providence movie seems well reviewed. Suzume and the first Slam Dunk. No idea which one of those will win. We've got Best Original Anime, so that's, I'm assuming, because they do not define this category, but anime not based on a light novel or a manga or anything like that.
Yeah.
So your choices are Akiba Maid War, Birdie Wing, specifically Season 2, the Golf Girls anime, which I believe was pretty wild. I like I said, I heard some splash stories from that. Very intense for golf.
They get that. Ping Pong the animation is still considered one of the best animated fucking series of all time, y'all.
Yeah, I've seen some sports anime. I know how it'd be sometime. Buddy Daddies, Do It Yourself! 2 exclamation points. Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury, probably gonna be my push, and The Marginal Service. So yeah, all of those I think are decent. I think I've heard of most of those.
Yeah. Out of those, Buddy Daddies is the one that actually surprised me. That one's actually very good, and I liked it. Because it's a very non-standard story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I would say it's a non-standard in a way, in a strange way. But you do occasionally hear about it, about 2 guys adopting a kid, but it's not in a But the 2 guys in question aren't romantically inclined. They're just they're heterosexual life partners.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And it's not like a weird odd couple thing like 2.5 Men or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because there's been a few versions of that story. For Best Animation, you've got... Sorry, I feel existential pain every time I read the full title. Attack on Titan. I'm not saying... I'm not even for the bit am I saying the whole name anymore. Attack on Titan. Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Mob Psycho 100, 3rd season, I assume by the 3, and Trigun Stampede. Very interested to see Trigun on there.
Well, I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, I'm happy for them. I know that a lot of people were nettled about the art style, but... apparently, Crunchyroll thought it was cool enough to put it not up just for Best Animation, but spoilers, also for Best Character Designs.
Oh, I definitely can agree with that. As
your character design noms are Trigun Stampede, Oshinoko, Jujutsu Kaisen, Hell's Paradise, Demon Slayer, and Chainsaw Man. So, this is the thing that happens with the Crunchyroll Awards. You see a lot of the same shows over and over again because...
Yeah, you do.
I think, honestly, it's because Crunchyroll is such a big source for animation. Not that it's exclusive. They've nominated things that are on their platform. Like, they had Edge Runners up for some awards the year it came out, for instance. But usually they are the shows that are on Crunchyroll, and they are their biggest shows naturally. So, you see a lot of the same shit over and over again, because when you get to the end of the year, there are often, a top 10 of anime that everybody was talking about.
Yeah.
But you've got some options for Best Director. which includes, the directors for, once again, Attack on Titan, Bocchi the Rock, Chainsaw Man, Heavenly Delusion, Jujutsu Kaisen, Oshinoko. Pretty normal stuff.
I would definitely want to go with Bocchi the Rock on that one, because Bocchi the Rock is wild, and a lot of the gags that they do.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting. I don't remember best cinematography before. I kind of wish they would define that a little better, but, it's, again, all the same shows you'd expect: Attack on Titan, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, Heavenly Delusion, Jujutsu Kaisen, Vinland Saga. They're big tippy tops. I haven't personally seen any of those, so I can't say how good their cinematography is, but I assume they're good. And cinematography is different from best art direction, even though, again, a lot of the same noms. You've got Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, Hell's Paradise, Jujutsu Kaisen, Oshinoko, and Zom 100 on that list, though. So changing up a few things. I also probably kind of agree that maybe Attack on Titan shouldn't win best art direction. It has a very specific style. Your noms for best romance, which includes new things, new names, Horimiya, Insomniacs After School, My Happy Marriage, My Love Story with Yamada-kun, at level 999. Skip and Loafer, Tomo-chan is a Girl. I've heard of some of these. Lucky, you have any particular pulls in this category? Best romance?
No, not particularly. What were the nominations again?
Horimiya, The Missing Pieces specifically. Insomniacs After School, My Happy Marriage, My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999. There's enough nines, right? 3 nines? Skip and Loafer, and Tomo-chan is a Girl.
The two of those that I've actually watched was Skip and Loafer and Horimiya Missing Pieces, both of which are very good, but I have read Insomniacs After School, and that seems like that also sounds like a strong contender. Tomo-chan is a Girl, I probably will not win. While it is long and popular, it is also very basic bitch kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have heard of it just as a concept before, and I clicked on it to double check it because I think I saw it in Crunchyroll's list of stuff earlier, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's very normal. That's I've seen several stories I think with this premise, not just full series but shorts and stuff as well. Your noms for best comedy, you've got Bocchi the Rock, Buddy Daddies, Mashal, Spy Family, Urusei Yatsura, and Zom 100. Very stacked category.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to keep going with Bocchi the Rock all day, every day, y'all.
Still, I think I feel like any of those that get it deserve it. Speaking, by the way, of stuff that's not on Crunchyroll being nommed, best action, your choices are Attack on Titan, Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood War. So you catch up on that while I still am paying for Hulu. Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece. Kind of hoping for a Bleach because I know they have been doing killer with the choreo on that and the action vibes, but I also don't. There's a lot of fucking baggage over the years with Bleach, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like out of the original big three, the only one that has remained fairly minimal in baggage, not totally, but is One Piece, and that's just because it's still going. I expect that the moment One Piece ends, the discourse is gonna fucking break out everywhere.
Probably.
But for the moment, it's still ongoing, so I feel like the series get less flack there. So we'll see. Best fantasy noms are Demon Slayer, Hell's Paradise, Mashal, Mushoku Tensei, Season 2, Ranking of Kings, and Ancient Magus Bride, Season 2. Let's go!
Let's go!
Happy to see those. I'll push for Ancient Magus Bride. Fucking love urban fantasy. Reminds me, I saw somebody make a comment about, it was specifically about Vampire the Masquerade earlier, but they were talking about how the Masquerade is useless in our modern day because anyone with a cell phone can film a vampire, and I'm like, nope, not true. You can film a vampire, but there would be 20 million sock puppet vampire accounts to tell you that video is fake. Chat, if you don't recall, the Mexican Congress last year looked at quote-unquote aliens that were very definitely just rocks. We live in the post-truth world.
We kind of do.
On the internet, and you will have people who will believe you until the ends of the earth, and people who will disbelieve you even if you have fucking 20 cited sources, and show them the fucking stats. It's crazy.
Remember how flat earthers work?
Yeah, I feel like I hear about that less these days, but that's still a thing. But then you've got best drama. I feel like I have a slight bone to pick with this first nom here. It's Attack on Titan again.
It is a dramatic.
Yeah, it's very dramatic. I just feel kind of weird about double booking them for action and drama. Actually, let me double check. Did they? Yeah, I think it's the only one that is actually doubled in there. The remaining best drama noms are Heavenly Delusion, My Happy Marriage, Oshinoko, To Your Eternity Season 2, and Vinland Saga Season 2. I suspect Oshinoko here for drama. I feel like that one caused psychic damage on the audience.
Oh, it did. I can tell you it did.
That feels like the best hit for the drama. We've also got Best Slice of Life. I think this might be the first year they've done this as a standalone category. Or if they have, they don't do it every year. Good choice. Your options to win here are Bocchi the Rock, Do It Yourself, Horimiya, Insomniacs After School, My Love Story with Yamada-kun, and Skip and Loafer. Again, very solid selections.
Oh, honestly, I would go with Horimiya Missing Pieces because the whole premise of Horimiya Missing Pieces is that it was a bunch of these segments that they cut out from the original story that focused on less important events. So it is just kind of this series of just a bunch of small events of these kids' like everyday lives.
Mm-hmm.
So
once again, we're in the character categories, and Crunchyroll has continued to have to reword this every year. The award is now Best Main Character, not Best Protagonist or Best Hero, because once again, Eren Yeager's in this list, and I know people have thoughts and feelings. Your options are Bocchi, Hitoru Goto, Denji from Chainsaw Man, Eren Yeager, Mob from Mob Psycho, Monkey D. Luffy, and Thorfinn from Vinland Saga.
I have a feeling Luffy's gonna win just because fucking One Piece fans are fucking rabid.
Yeah, it's huge. If not, I hope Bocchi, though.
Yeah.
Best Supporting Characters, your options are Arataka Regan from Mob Psycho, Hange Zoe from Attack on Titan, Kana Arima from Oshinoko, Power from Chainsaw Man, and Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen, and Suguru Geto, which I assume is some sort of gag, from Jujutsu Kaisen. That one I'm not so sure. Those seem like decent pulls. Maybe Power? She seems popular on the internet. We once again also have back our Must Protect at All Costs character category. Strong Vibes Crunchyroll. Your options are, I believe, once again, Anya Forger, Spy Family. But you've also got Bocchi back again. It's funny, they wrote her name the other way around, as Hitori Goto, parentheses Bocchi. It was written the other way in Best Main Character. Boji, I think I'm saying that right with double G's, from Ranking of Kings. Miri Unosaka from Buddy Daddies, Pochita from Chainsaw Man, and Suletta Mercury from Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witcher Mercury.
I don't know if Suletta Mercury, she'll kick your ass.
Yeah, I'm about to say, on the one hand, I approve of Suletta being in this category because Suletta Forgetta and all that stuff. But also, like, Suletta's definitely the character where you go, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me. Like,
remember first episode, scared she slapped Ghoul's ass? I'm the groom now.
Yeah, no. Fucking, fighting games and stuff. Like, this, when it comes to, like, protecting, she's going. Best Anime Song is next. You've got Idol from Oshinoko, Kickback from Chainsaw Man, Seishun Complex from Bocchi the Rock, Suzume from Suzume, Where Our Blue Is from Jujutsu Kaisen, and Work from Hell's Paradise.
I'm gonna go with Seishun Complex. I still listen to that fucking album. It is amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Then you've got Best Score. Your options are Attack on Titan, Bocchi the Rock, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, Oshinoko, and Suzume. Bocchi the Rock seems like another strong contender there because it is an anime that is slightly about music. They also have Best Opening Sequence. It's basically all the same noms as Best Song, but also instead of Seishun Complex, they've got Innocent Arrogance from Heavenly Delusion. Best Ending, you've got Akari from Jujutsu Kaisen 2, Happiness of the Dead from Zom 100. Sorry. It's a Maximum the Hormone song. Okay, that's why. The name for the ending for Chainsaw Man is intense, but it's Maximum. I should expect that. The name is Hawatari Niko Senti, in all caps, and then in parentheses, 200 million centimeter long blades. Thank you, Maximum the Hormone. Never change. Kogare from Millet X Man with a Mission. Damn, I should go listen to that. That sounds great. That's from Demon Slayer, but I like both those people. Mephisto for Oshinoko, and Color from Spy Family. Best Voice Artist Performance in Japanese. They have a separate for English. You've got... Let's see, do I want to just do this for character? No, we'll say both sides. So you've got Atsumi Tanizaki for Anya Forger, Kikunosuke Toya for Denji from Chainsaw Man, Mayumi Tanaka for Monkey D. Luffy, Yoshino Aoyama for Bocchi, Yuki Kaji for Eren Yeager, and Yuichi Nakamura for Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. So, pretty normal vibes. Kind of surprised to see quite so much One Piece in, like, all the broad categories. And then Best English Performance, you've got Abby Trott for Nezuko from Demon Slayer, Austin Tyndall from Million Knives from Trigun, Johnny Young Bosch as Ichigo Kurosaki. I hope he wins. Man deserves it. Doing great work out there. Lexi Nieto as Tomo Izawa from Tomo-chan as a Girl. Marisa Duran from as Sakiri Yamada Isemon. We got 3 names in there for House Paradise. And Ryan Colt Levy as Denji from Chainsaw Man. I think people were positive to the Chainsaw Man dub. I'm going to rip JOB though. He does good work. And then they actually, I appreciate this. I'm not going to read them just because I have, no comment on them, but they actually have noms for several other languages. You've got Castilian Spanish, Latin American Spanish, Portuguese, German, Italian, Arabic, and French. So they've added a whole bunch of awards for different language dubs as well, which is neato. But yeah, that's the Anime Awards. We'll see what the results shake out. I do not believe the Crunchyroll Anime Awards do any kind of Oh no, we do voting. So yeah, you can cast your ballot. I might do a run of that sometime, but I don't know that many of the shows. Let's see. Voting is open and ends on the 27th. So yeah, you got a few things out there. You got some time to think about it. But then, just probably a couple more final things to do. Just in general, catching some gaming vibes. I believe that this past week, CD Projekt Red officially announced they are in dev on Cyberpunk's 2077 sequel. Which I believe was kind of known because they announced, ongoing Cyberpunk projects previously, but I don't think they were still in pre-pro because they obviously had most of their team working on Patches and Phantom Liberty. So now it seems like we're basically going full into the only thing for 2077 is the tail end ongoing maintenance and stuff, and then they're spooling up a team for full blown development on a sequel. I'm kind of curious to see how that process is going to go over and what it'll be like. I don't know if we're going to see that game, for the next 10 years, honestly. No knock to CDPR, but they do take a long time to develop games and obviously have reasons to be invested in taking all the time they need to finish games. But I would be very curious to see, how that goes. Because, Core Systems, 2077, pretty solid game after all the rebalancing. There's still a couple of small features that we are probably not going to get at this point that I would not mind seeing. Still really wish we could just customize our cars. I know they have different paint jobs. You have the models. Just let me pick them. But there's plenty a lot there, and I would be very interested in seeing what's going on. I am actually pretty sure that they said that if they were going to do a sequel, they'd be fully switching to Unreal 5, because they built an engine for 2077. So graphically, it'll probably look a little different. I do kind of wonder if they're going to keep the exact same setting, because I don't know how much of the modeling they can reuse. They can probably reuse terrain a decent amount, but I don't know.
I don't know. I think it'd be good to explore something else. The thing I'm wondering about is what they're going to do with the story. It's because a sequel means that they are continuing a story in some way, form, or fashion. I'm just I don't know. Do you V's story isn't necessarily done, but at the same time, it seems like a good stopping point.
Yeah, I feel like unlike a lot of other of these immersive sim open world RPG, compare it to Deus Ex, the original Deus Ex, and it's also arguably Human Revolution, and then their immediate follow-up sequels, right? Honestly, for the most part, your different ending choices don't matter so much for a sequel, right?
Yeah.
So long as you don't do The Devil, which has some very impactful stuff down the line, the general vibe is that no matter how you do it, you V touch Mikoshi and get Johnny out, and he goes on his merry way with Alt.
Or you can do it where, Johnny takes over your fucking body.
You can have Johnny go on his merry way as you, and you go off with Alt. Your friends are very upset about that one, though, because you don't pre-discuss this plan. There's a lot to be said in the themes of Cyberpunk 2077 about letting your friends and loved ones know what's going on with you ahead of time.
Yeah, no, this is especially true for the fucking tower ending, apparently.
Yeah. That's probably why I'm not going to do that one. Whenever I
I don't think I can do that one.
I'll just do a regular ending.
Yeah, no, that's the tower. I'll give it. It's been fucking months, so I'll spoil it. So the tower is if you are good with Solomon Reed, they will fix you, but it puts you in a 2-year coma and basically makes it so your body cannot use any cyberware except the most basic bitch things. So you become basically a nobody. And all your friends, and I mean all of them, has said, "Fuck you, V, I'm out."
Because you were in a coma for 2 years and didn't let them know.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll take the other end. Yeah, I got the vibes. I understand how that happens too, because there is a very powerful plot coupon in Phantom Liberty. But I think all the characters in Phantom Liberty are written really well. But there's definitely like a very strong vibes. I mean, also technically, there are open-ended endings, like the Star, which is in tarot terms the most hopeful ending. The tower is actually really bad, y'all.
No, it's bad.
It's disaster. Everything gets fucked. The Star is you fucking leave Night City. You leave the city alive. Basically on top of your game with your homies. With depending on who you got. With your romantic partner. If it's Panam or Judy, you get to take them with you. River sadly will not leave the city because his sister and niece and nephew are there, and Carrie is a big star, so I don't know if he can just fuck off, but he could at least probably like go on tour and follow you. But you leave with them to go track down a cure somewhere else, knowing you won't find it in Night City. That's at least like open ended, right? You don't know how long you're gonna go. The Sun is definitely more of like, oh, you're gonna fucking die, but you'll die, doing what you love, which is fucking cyberpunking it up. So, yeah, I think they did a good job with writing all of the endings to be like avoid the perfect little bow tie problem that a lot of games have, but also does kind of mean that the way a sequel would work is that you could totally make it like Cyberpunk 2078. Please don't actually do that. At least, pick a number that's more interesting. Go like 2080 or something. But you could totally set that up and just allude to whatever V did and have a lot of it ultimately not matter in the grand scheme of things, because that's how Cyberpunk is, the setting. I mean, also the genre, but unless you do a couple of very specific things, it's not like Arasaka's going to run out of people to run the company.
Well, actually, I guess something they could do if they wanted to do a direct sequel is choose their intro story, basically how you chose your fucking ending.
Yeah, you could do instead basically the way you pick like V's like life path. You just pick what was your ending in Night City,
Yeah, I guess that could be it. And depending on that, could send you back to Night City, or you're already in Night City or something. I don't fucking know. But again, like when they say it's a sequel, I expect, an actual sequel, a continuation of the story.
And presumably some sort of development of the stuff they've got going on in the world, which is currently 2077 and stuff is currently like the latest in the Cyberpunk storyline. The current edition of the RPG Red is set in like the 2040s somewhere. They are planning on releasing a 2077 supplement soon. It may already be out actually, but like for the most part, the video game version is the cutting edge of the timeline. So yeah, there's definitely room there. I will be kind of interested again to see like what they do with that development, like what lessons they learn, because obviously 2077 I think was very heavily shaped by the fact that they got Keanu on board to be Johnny Silverhand, like that I think really like crystallized the plot for them.
Oh yeah.
And arguably made the game much more plot driven than open world. I know there's a lot of open world stuff, but most of the oomph is in, single player story. And so I hope they don't just like do the same thing, but with like Morgan Blackhand, who is a backstory character who is mysteriously basically nowhere in 2077. If you don't know much about the Cyberpunk lore, Morgan Blackhand is basically the good guy version of Adam Smasher. He is like the ultimate, iconic solo character. He's just the, world's most unkillable Mercman. According to previous canon of the Cyberpunk setting of 2020 and stuff, it wasn't Johnny who fought Adam Smasher to a standstill at Arasaka Tower. It was Morgan Blackhand who was supposed to be there. Statements from Mike Pondsmith and the rest of the writers for the Cyberpunk RPG are basically that the version you see in the video game is basically Johnny's memories, so it's colored to very heavily favor him. It's probably why he's such a huge badass, even though as a rocker boy he was, supposed to be more of a face than a shoot 'em man.
But it just means that Morgan Backhand was in there behind the scenes doing what he could. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, so like I wouldn't mind seeing him as an iconic backstory character, but also like please don't like put him in my brain again. We did that one already. Not that I like dislike sharing space with Johnny, but there were times.
Honestly, I think that's the thing that makes me most sad about Cyberpunk. Like, well, not mad, well, sad or mad, but like I think I just would have preferred it's like, can we just like freeze this so Johnny doesn't I just live with Johnny Silverhand in my head? Like, I've spent, like, weeks with this dude in my head. I think we got a pretty fair cop of what's going on. Like,
yeah, this guy is just my brain roommate now.
Yeah. Like, especially, like, once you get past the Johnny Silverhands quest where you get on the Ebunke.
Yes.
Like, after that moment, you go to this, you two become bros at that moment.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wouldn't mind an ending where it's like, you don't become big and like, I guess that's the thing. It wouldn't be an ending of extremes. Because that's what all the endings are.
Yes, they're very extreme. What I was going to say is also, I feel like the story is set up earlier to be like, no, there are no half measures. You're fucking dying right now, homie.
Yeah, I know.
But that also, it is an open world video game, so you can just fuck around for literally forever and don't actually keel over dead. So, it's one of them ludonarrative dissonances. But yeah, there's some stuff there. I mean, we probably could have, like, done some things. I feel like Alt probably has ulterior motives to, like, yoink the Johnny engram. Though she is perfectly happy to send him on his way and just, take you along.
Well, Alt has become, a super powerful AI that lives beyond the black wall. Good job, Johnny. That's your fault.
That is your fault. Once again, he remembers it differently. I believe it has been pretty canon that Alt's brain was sucked away by Soul Killer, like, 3.0, because she made the original Soul Killer BT-dubs, in case you didn't know that. But her brain was sucked out by the version that doesn't, like, instantly crush your gray matter,
Yeah.
And was making her way back to her body, but Johnny was a dumbass and just unplugged her before she could get back through the router.
Yeah.
So she was stuck in the net forever. Whoops. And that's why we don't trust Johnny Silverhand with decisions. You need him to write a speech? You want him to throw a flash mob? Cool. Netwatch. And to be fair, the Black Wall is a good idea because the one who fucked that up is Raish Bartmoss because he had a dead man switch to unleash horrible AI malware into the internet when he died.
And it did. No, it wasn't when he died. Because remember, he lived in a fucking fridge for who knows how long.
He went into, like, suspended animation. I think it's like if he went, like, off the grid, he had, like, an emergency nuke button. And he was just like, I will do this as a joke. And then he created self-replicating viral AIs that ate the internet.
Literally.
Yes. And so they are behind the Black Wall, which is a collab between, I'm pretty sure it's between Alt and Netwatch. Like, Alt helped build the Black Wall. That's why she can fucking come and go as she likes, basically. To be like, okay, all of our horrible, fucked up technological demonic shit over there. Rest of the internet over here. We're good. The problem is, of course, that there was some shit left in the old net that is, like, really valuable to corporations and the government and stuff, which is why people keep trying to poke the Black Wall.
And everyone's like, no, don't plaque the back wall. That's going to ruin everything. That's going to fuck up everything. Everyone's like, no, it's going to be fine.
And then also you have the Voodoo Boys who are just, techno-deity cultists who are like, yes, I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords. By unleashing the AIs, we shall rule when the revolution comes. And I'm like, well, we all know how that ends for y'all. Spoilers, it ends with my sword in Brigitte's guts.
Yeah, I mean, it's always more correct to shoot the Voodoo Boys.
It's 'cause I appreciate that the Voodoo Boys are not a racial caricature. In the original Cyberpunk timeline, they were a poser gang made up of mostly white people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it was like an ironic thing. That's in the 2020 lore. That's why there's a thing called poser gangs, where it's like super irony poisoned.
Oh wow.
So the Voodoo Boys you meet in 2077 kind of like took back their heritage. Good on them. You're still assholes, and I fucking hate you. You suck. You guys are horrible, insular users who have done a lot of fucked up shit to people I liked, and also me personally. You tried to kill me, like, 3 times, and I'm not okay with this. You thought you could get away with it? Guess what? You didn't.
No, there's... Every time I'm just cruising around fucking Night City, there's always 3 gangs I just get out of my car and shoot on sight. 1, Scavs. 2, Maelstroms. 3, Voodoo Boys.
Yeah.
Animals, Tiger Claws, and the Valentinos, you alright.
Well, some of the Tiger Claws, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, some of the animals, too, but listen, I like Rhino.
The animals are mostly just, like, basically roided up freaks. They can be a little unhinged because they're too chromed up, but sometimes they're very functional. I don't know who all in the Tiger Claws runs their sex trade business. Those guys are pretty bad, but also I've killed a lot of them, so yeah. You know,
I get that. I think it's like groups and whatnot, because I'm pretty
it's
sure
not, it's not a universal. The Tiger Claws are actually pretty big because they're in like 2 or 3 different neighborhoods.
Like, because I fucking murder the fuck out of Jotaro.
Yeah, Jotaro sucks. Woodman super sucks. Stuff that guy in a laundry basket. If you go through Judy's like whole quest line, several of those guys suck ass. But also you can get through without having to stab everybody who, you know, universally sucks.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Mox.
Really sucks, but Judy gets upset when you kill her because she has a little crush on her. So I usually try to avoid that, even though my first instinct when people stab me in the back is to be like, I'm tired of this. Your actions have consequences. Thermal Katana. Or in my previous playthrough, Guts.
If I remember correctly, you can kill Maiko, and Judy will get over it, but I think the thing that will actually piss off Judy the most if you take Maiko's money afterwards.
Yes, if you side with Maiko and take her money, Judy is done with you. If you kill Maiko, she's just very upset in the following cutscene. Whereas that's like the first, if you play it right, that's the first time she'll give you a little kiss.
I usually go with Maiko, but don't take the money.
Yeah.
Because, fun fact, if you actually do take over, it goes badly.
Yeah, I mean, it goes badly no matter what. It's just what flavor. Maiko is basically same shit, different day.
Mm-hmm.
Though you can be reasonably certain that I'm pretty sure she's not as sexually exploitative as the previous owners of Clouds, but
probably not, no.
She's still not that much better of a leader. If you do the full takeover, then the Tiger Claws just hit back and, you know, people get fucked up. It's funny that all of these stories have these options to, like, do these fuck-ups. Like, you can, if you really want to, you could fucking rat out Pan Am to Saul for some ungodly reason, and he gives you, like, a car, and I'm like, Saul, this car is not worth Pan Am's ass. I'm out of here. Also, if you rat out Pan Am, you don't get to drive a tank. Wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
Anyway, very interested to see what they do with the sequel, because I really like the writing of Cyberpunk, and I think that, you know, the gameplay wasn't perfect to start, but got to a really mature place, and was still fun at launch. Some people are like, you know, game literally unplayable. No, not true. Literally not true. I played it. But, you know, I think they have done improvements over time, so I'm very interested to see, like, what form a sequel will do. But again, like I said, they've only just announced, like, this month that they're actually moving into, like, the development production stage, so again, God knows how many years it'll be before we hear from them. I hope it's plenty of time. They need that dev time. Also, I'm pretty sure there's a fucking Witcher game in there somewhere. Might be multiple Witcher games, who knows. But yeah, let's see. We're about 2.5 hours, so I don't have to linger too long. I did, because the PlayStation Plus games are out, I did download and do some tutorials for Hardspace Shipbreaker. How much Hardspace Shipbreaker did you play, Lucky?
I've gotten through the tutorial and one ship. I'm about to pick my second ship. This is Zero G the game, by the way.
Yeah, no. Better or worse? Sometimes I have some questions for about how we decide what axis I'm thrusting on. Because there's sometimes when I'll be going one direction and I'll like turn around and try to like thrust the other way, and it doesn't seem like I'm thrusting the right way. I'm speeding up the other way, but I don't know. It's Zero G, so it's very easy to lose your orientation. But yeah, Hardspace is a pretty simple game. You are a blue-collar space worker leaving a horribly doomed Earth, which sucks, to go to a job, which also sucks, in space, where you scrap ships and put salvage in. It starts with you being put into hellacious amounts of debt.
Hellacious. I actually stopped and read the fucking terms of service and the fucking thing. This is the most exploitation I have ever been exploited by.
Fucking, did you read your bill when they tally up your debt?
Yes.
Yeah, there's some. They charge you $750 just to tell you how much debt you got.
Yeah.
Not that that matters because your debt is in the multi-millions, I think. But like, it's funny. On the plus side, if you're playing in standard or lower difficulties, you're cloned forever. But yeah, it's a pretty simple game. I like it. You know, you're just doing a shift, taking apart ships. You got a cutting tool to cut things. You got a grapple bip to grapple things. Eventually they introduce tethers, which are really cool, because you can basically tie things to things and they slowly drift together. Which is great, because let me tell you, I've had some situations. Lucky, have you accidentally crossed the threshold into the furnace of the processor yet?
Yes. I knew it was a bad idea, but I did not realize once you cross the caution tape, you are sucked in.
Yeah, no, I was trying to save some chairs from a a piece of wreckage that, needed to be sorted somewhere else and accidentally got sucked into the processor. It's bad. You die. And you get charged money for it.
Yes.
But yeah, otherwise, fun game. Having a good time. I like, the space vibes it's got. You just listen to, space guitars. So I'll probably go do some more of that or watch some anime after we're out of here. But it's probably a good time to wrap up the show. Oh, shit, it's also after midnight. Well, guess that going to sleep early thing's not going to crack out, because this audio will take a little while to render. But yeah, I guess I'll just do, the usual wrap-up stuff. Any other, gaming-related stuff from this week, Lucky?
I did also try Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, I will say.
Yeah, you played the demo. Yeah, what'd you think?
I played the demo. I thought it was okay, and it's cool. I do have a weird concern, though. I'm a bit concerned about the, is that a fucking fuel tank?
Yeah, they're fuel tanks. Watch out for those. They will explode.
Oh, I bet they will. But, the thing that I'm concerned about right now is I don't think they're going to actually start from the beginning of the story. I think they might start in media res. Because they had some dialogue, to the effect of, people talking about how they've already been there. Because, Grand Blue Fantasy, you don't start, with all those freaking people. At the first isle, it's Gran and V. And then they meet, Katarina and, God, I can't remember. She's the guest.
A lot of characters.
And the guest. And then, and then as you go from, island to island, you start picking up more of the crew. Of the main crew. Not even to talk about, meeting, side characters and whatnot. But this game, it feels like playing the game, it felt like that segment is one of the first parts you can do, and you started with everybody. I'm just oh, we don't get to do it all bit by bit. I'm a little.
I do kind of wonder, because the tutorial is very minimalist. I think there's one character doing callouts, and then it's just Grant as the actual character. So I don't know, but yeah, I know for sure the demo started in media res, and I don't actually know if that's supposed to be the first bit of gameplay. I kind of hope it isn't, because like you said, you have the full fucking, you have all 4 slots filled right away, and a guest character, so it's okay, that's a lot of characters already. But I guess we'll see shortly, because that's February 1st, I believe. And then P3 is February 2nd, so we're 2 weeks away from that shit. Have fun, everybody. Oh, though I was just reminded, because I was on Twitter real quick, checking some stuff before I do some other final things. Just want to say another bit of interesting anime news related to stuff upcoming, but I believe the manga for Plus Size Elf has recently finished, and the author has gotten an anime deal.
Yes.
So there will be an anime adaptation, which I am down for. I physically own a couple volumes of that. 4, actually, exactly, as I look over. I should buy more sometime. But it's a fun series that's, mostly slice of life and comedy with, a little bit of the horny. But also it's about, being better, so we have fun. That'll be very interesting to see animated. I wonder, what kind of format they'll go for. Because obviously it's, a story that was finished, so got some finishing to do. But before we get on out of here, I'll just remind you of some normal stuff. Been running our usual, monthly topic polls for 5 and up patrons. For Fanservant Friday, I was just, trying to trim some stuff out of my short list, and not really surprising, but I put writer Tutankhamun on this list for no real reason, and he won. So I'll get to talk about Egypt soon. Thumbs up. I'll have fun. And also to keep you apprised of, general streams and stuff, we're doing all our usuals, but at least for the next little bit, we're going to be on a Metal Gear kick. And Monday, Lucky streamed and completed all of Metal Gear number 1.
Whoa.
Hooray. Give you a round of golf claps. I'm actually kind of impressed, because it is, it was a little bit of a longer stream, but there was a lot of doubling back in that last chunk of the game, so...
it was so needlessly doubling back.
I got through it all.
I literally had to go to the basement, get something, go back up.
Yeah, because all the fucking base... You go to the secret basement where they're keeping Metal Gear, and then get one item and immediately have to leave because all the doors out are locked with the level 8 keycard you don't have. Yeah, it's wild. It feels to me like at some point we were like, oh shit, we need a ship soon. We can't add a 4th building, so we gotta put our ship between buildings 2 and 3. But you did it. We defeated Metal Gear. We blew up Big Boss with a rocket launcher. He will never come back. We will never see him again. This is a literal lie. And Monday we should be back on track to do Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake.
Yeah, I have been playing with it a little bit just to see how it is. Boy, howdy, are things different.
Yeah, they added a lot of stuff.
They did add a lot of stuff. It's a little crazy.
So that'll be fun to walk through. And then after, depending on how long Solid Snake takes, after, we're not sure, but if it's pretty short, we might just go straight into Metal Gear Solid, because the original Metal Gear Solid's not that long either. and continue to figure stuff out and play things by ear. But that is probably a decent point to wind down the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Be sure to give us a like on YouTube if you like this. Leave your comments down below. Join our Discord for lots of fun times. We have many things on Discord. It's a cool place for cool people. Check it out. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel for more videos. Make sure you ring that bell for notifications so you always know when we're posting a new video or when we're streaming. Especially because while I do at our Discord, apparently sometimes you can get those notifications late. I did see one of our members talked about how his phone gave him the notification like 3 hours late when I adhered everybody. So, get your YouTube notifs fired up. Consider supporting our channel memberships for access to membership badges and emotes, and just being a cool guy. And also, like I said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon and get access to audio versions of the show early for as little as $1 a month or $10 a year. At higher levels, you can vote in polls, get videos early, and at our highest levels, you can listen to Let's Talk FGO get recorded live every week and get on-air shoutouts. That is going to be it for this week. We'll see you guys next week. Will there be a banner 2? Let's find out together. Bye, everybody.
See you next time.